Way.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
So that was part of our discussion and conversation with the Charlie Baker memo that Ross Dellinger obtained from Yahoo Sports. If you haven't read it yet, I would do so. It's pretty long, it's pretty lengthy, but it is interesting to hear them discuss or hear that article and discussion on what we could see in terms of a cataclysmic change to the NIL where the schools would actually be involved towards more third parties. Now, we will get to more of that coming up. Muss touched on OU yesterday. He had some interesting things to say, not just about this game, but future games as well. There have been opt-outs already for bowl season. Want to share with some of you about that. Some of that we're going to see at some point in time. Saw Mike McCarthy might not be coaching this weekend for the Dallas Cowboys. He's dealing with appendicitis, got his appendix removed, so his status is questionable for the biggest game, Sunday Night Football this weekend. Massive, not just game in the NFC East, but across the sport in the National Football League.
All right, 2 minutes after 6, that's where we begin this morning. Is it a Too Stupid Thursday as well? Is that what we're still calling it? Too Stupid Thursday here on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Oaklawn Sports, the best sports betting app in Arkansas. You can use it border to border in our state. And with Oaklawn, they have new funding options to make depositing or withdrawing easier than ever. Sign up today. Get first bet insurance up to $250. And with the NHL, the NBA well underway, college basketball starting to hit its stride, and you mentioned all the bowl games coming up, you can find the lines and all the action there, whether it's in-game bets, live bets, parlays, they have it with the Oaklawn Sports app. And if you haven't checked out same-game parlays, pre-match and live bets, you need to do that as well. That's right. You can make same-game parlays live. So bet with a brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
You have anything that's you just thought was stupid this week?
Well,
or at any point? Not necessarily a beef. You're just like, why is that a thing? Why is that happening?
Here's one, and I don't know. You can tell me this. This is not going to be popular with your generation or the group that's probably in school now. I think it's stupid that the fans as a whole or the athletic department as a whole bears the whole cost on this stork corming stuff. After being there watching it the other night, this is stupid. Now, I don't care if they rush the floor, but you know where that money should come from? They need to add it back into student tickets or student athletic fees or whatever the student body pays, because 95% of the people that run out on that floor are out of the student section. It's not the average fan. And that's fine. I'm not a, get off my lawn guy on this deal, but we're talking serious money as this thing escalates. It reset to the low bar of $100,000. It's going to happen again at some point, and it's going to be $250 or whatever it goes up to. And I don't think Arkansas is in a position where you're going to get the court stormed in most cases when you go play on someone else's floor. So if I'm Hunter Yurchek, I'm having a discussion with someone up there. Can we add $5 a head or what? You do the math, whatever you got to do to
30,000 undergrad, whatever that is.
Whatever. Do the math based on whatever number. Athletic department shouldn't have to keep coughing this up. I know it looks good on social media, and I know it makes nice photos, but we were talking about just to blend the conversation in. Now you got to come up with $30,000 a head for all your athletes. There's not just a spare $250,000 laying around anymore.
Yeah. I said that on Thursday last week. I just thought it was dumb that they did it. I had to kind of get out of there so I could get to the station in time. I didn't think it was worthy of court ceremony. You brought up that Duke lost to Georgia Tech with the following game. This is not a vintage Duke team. I know they were top 10 and they've got some draftable players, but this is not.
I'm just looking at financially. It's field, courts, whatever. Yeah. It's getting to the point it's stupid, and, hey, if the students want to keep doing it, I'm okay with it, but the students need to pay for it.
Yeah.
And they don't care because there's no accountability.
I think when it comes to this.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, this discussion to center it back to where we kind of started the initial open with the NIL stuff, I think it's stupid that collegiate athletes, men and women, regardless of sport, overhype their own value. They don't understand the business aspects and the revenue and the idea that some players, particularly men, let's just be honest, let's call a spade, particularly men in football and basketball, are worth ample amount of money more than any other sport on that campus. That's just how it is. And so you've got, and you brought this up yesterday, you've got scholarships, you've got cost of attendance, you've got NIL, and now they want to share of a revenue. I don't think you understand of how much you're getting and how much certain players are worth. Yes,
when you've proven nothing. Yeah, in a lot of cases,
is the likes of, let's say, Jaden Daniels, who might win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night. I think it's him and Penix. Is his value millions of dollars? Absolutely, unequivocally, pre-Heisman. But not for every player on campus that thinks that's the case.
All right, what do you think? McClarty Daniel hotline open, 877-377-6963, brought to you by Joe's Grill and Cantina. Hey, yesterday was Nacho Average Wednesday. I had Joe's last night for dinner. Today is going to be Throwback Thursday, the old Cuco's platters. And these are enough for lunch and dinner. I mean, they load you up with some great stuff. You can try the Veracruz, the Acapulco, the Cancun platters. They'll all be out today and featured as their specials at Joe's Grill and Cantina. And don't forget, when the Hogs are on, like they will be Saturday, taking on OU, half-price apps and taps during every game. That includes all the appetizers on the menu, including the ballpark nachos and their cheese dips. And I like those little rolled taco things, taquitos, or it's not those, something else they call them. But, man, they are great, too. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps. Don't forget, half-price apps and taps when the Hogs are on TV.
I heard some friends saw you there. And
last night?
No, on Tuesday. I got a call on Tuesday.
Oh, for lunch?
They said they saw you, and they wanted you to do the Gaston's read, is what he told me. So
I get that request more than you might think.
It's probably the most.
Hey, can you do that thing where you do with Gaston?
It's probably the most entertaining value of the show. I even have friends that are my age that I think it's funny.
When we were over at Mad Rooster before the Duke game, one guy said, I don't bet my money. He said, but I bet in my mind. I do an over-under. Every time you start.
How many seconds?
He goes, all right, it's 4. It's 4 today. So he'll set it at 4.5. He'll count. So he asked why I varied it up. I said, well, for that reason. So you never know. You on gamble.
Yeah, you can gamble. It should be on the Bet Saracen app. We have so many different things that we can bet on this morning. It should be on the Bet Saracen app.
And could I be bribed to change it in your favor if you're out there? Absolutely.
Absolutely. We do take bribes.
Absolutely.
We are not restricted by NCAA rules on this program. We will accept any type of bribe whatsoever when it comes to our content if you want to contribute to the Morning Rush NIL fund at any point.
Every time.
There you go. Just wondering where you're going with that.
We'll take that bribe every time. Yeah. All right, that's where we began this morning. Got calls loaded up. 2 lines are open for you. We'll get to calls, and then Chuck coming up in just a few minutes as well. We're brought to you by the Fence Man. We love the Fence Man for a lot of reasons. A, he makes good football picks. But second, he builds a great fence, whether it's around one of our tower sites, around my backyard at home, new gates, or anything you might need. I saw in my neighborhood, he's building some enclosures, if you will, or some just to make it look better around air conditioning units at someone's house. So where he built some trash can enclosures for somebody. Small and simple stuff like that, all the way to big industrial commercial jobs with 10-foot fences, doing some stuff for some military installations. They can do it all. 782-3936 is the number. 782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Alex in Boonville, hold on. We'll get to you next.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here and hitthatline.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas! Merry Christmas from your friends at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. This month, save a whole lot of money with year-end pricing on a huge inventory of Rath Road-ready vehicles. Plus, follow us on Facebook for how you can win $1,000 Christmas recovery cash. Remember, whether you're buying a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley. When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today. 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Hey, it's Phil Elson. From all these years watching baseball, I've grown accustomed to watching closers in their element. James Teague isn't closing innings anymore, he's closing cases. With almost 30 years in the business, Teague Law Firm is a general practice firm that can help you with most family law issues, divorce, custody, and child support. They can also help with criminal law, both felonies and misdemeanors.
Call James and the Teague Law Firm at 479-877-1688. That's 479-877-1688.
Online at teague-law.com.
Teague Law Firm, if they can't help you, they'll talk football.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock. Or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
The Links at Chaffee Crossing takes great pride in providing award-winning barbecue. Whether the craving is for ribs, pork, brisket, or chicken, we can satisfy any appetite. Stop in and watch the game and enjoy everyday food and drink specials like $5 mixed drink specials or $2 domestic beer. Open Tuesday through Sunday, the Links at Chaffee Crossing is ready to serve you the best barbecue in the River Valley. The Links at Chaffee Crossing next to Deer Trails Golf Course. Come see us.
Did you miss the Arklahoma Outdoor RV Expo? Don't worry. RV Expo prices have been extended at Camping World. Shop top RV brands from your favorite manufacturers with new RVs starting at less than $5 a day. Plus, get even more for your money with a huge selection of reconditioned pre-owned RVs. Finance your RV with competitive rates and flexible terms through our national network of lenders. Visit your local Camping World to shop extended RV Expo prices today. See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful.
You're the one. Ellis gets it away to blocker, 3 to shoot. Laid left side. Brazil with the shot clock expiring makes the 3. Trevin Brazil with a 3-pointer. Arkansas by 12.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh, man, some of the conversations that we have during the break, I wish y'all could.
Maybe that could be premium content we could charge for our own NIL fund.
I limit myself to 1 swear word a show, and it's about 16 during the break. So it's just part of it, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully Muss won't be swearing as much as he usually does on Saturday. Hopefully it's happy swears from time to time as they take on an undefeated Oklahoma team. A lot better than they were last year, where Arkansas got the better of the Sooners. They added a good chunk of pieces in the portal. Muss talked about the game, Trevin, Brazil, and a few other things. We'll touch on that coming up in just a sec.
Brought to you by the Inn at the Mill, the place we always love to stay when we need a room in Northwest Arkansas. So if you're in Harrison or Hot Springs or Fort Smith, and hey, maybe you just got a weekend of shopping planned, maybe you want to go look at Christmas lights, maybe you're going to a ball game at Bud Walton Arena, maybe you want to take the family to Crystal Bridges during the holidays. The Inn at the Mill is the perfect place to stay. It's right in the heart of everything in Northwest Arkansas. There's great restaurants nearby. There's all the attractions I just mentioned that are within 10 or 15 minutes away. Oversized big rooms, great breakfast to start the day as well. Conveniently located at exit 69 on 549 at the Johnson exit. It's been there a long time. You know where I'm talking about. The old mill there that has the water features and just a great-looking hotel. I'm going to tell you, you're going to love the rooms as well. You'll love the staff when you call. They make it easy to get your room set up. 479-443-1800. I recommend a phone call. Jennifer's so wonderful when she answers the phone. And then the inatthemill.com is their website, inatthemill.com. 479-443-1800. When you stay in Northwest Arkansas, stay where we stay at the Inn at the Mill.
All right, we'll talk basketball coming up, but first let's talk to Alex, who's in Boonville this morning. Alex, I know y'all got a big state championship. I know
Bearcats.
I know the son's starting quarterback's father, Tyson, a little bit. Hopefully his son has a good weekend.
Prescott. Lane Prescott.
Yeah, I think Prescott's going to have a lot of trouble stopping Boonville's run game, honestly. But
I'll tell you what, hey, Alex, I'll tell you one thing for sure, and I don't know them all, but Prescott couldn't hold a candle to the barbecue in Boonville. There's no question. You got two good spots down there.
Oh, Reed's Barbecue is by far the best barbecue around.
Reed's, and then what's the other one, Black Dog or something? It's
Black Dog, yes. They make some dang good burgers, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was down there the other night for a deal, and they had catered it, and they had some chicken tacos. Woo! Anyway.
Oh, they're fire. Yeah. But my reason for calling in today for the Too Stupid Thursday is some of these Razorback fans are all just like ready to jump ship to KJ. He has one bad year for us, and they just like, all right, we're ready to move on. I get it. He did have a bad year, but look at the offensive line he was behind this year. So, like, I really don't get why everybody's like, just like, all right, I want him to go. I've heard more negative comments about KJ this year than I've ever heard.
Yeah.
After one bad year with that terrible offensive line.
Alex, what do you think of him as a passing quarterback?
Well, I don't. I agree. He can't throw a short pass to save his life.
But see, it's complicated because if I wanted to argue, like Ty always wants to argue with people, I would start listing all the school records he owns. So it gets complicated for me with KJ because I agree with what you said that, hey, sometimes there's things in the passing game, and a lot of people want to sound smart and say, well, he can't read a defense. Well, can you? You know, because I can't read the defense and know what play to check into, neither can you. You know, you hear these people trying to sound smart all the time. They don't know what they're talking about. But it's complicated because I agree with what you said. The short, intermediate timing stuff, tough and a big part of the offense, but Alex, what do you when I pull out the old argument of, well, but how about the 9 school records that all have to do with passing? Well, I don't have much of a leg to stand on there.
Exactly, he's broke them all. I mean,
yeah. So now what do I do? And then, so I guess if you really want to be the guy that argues and just keeps arguing, like Ty, till you're blue in the face. Yeah, but he was there for 4 years. He played for. Well, I mean, there's some truth in that too. But
yeah, but I mean, people are like, well, he won't fit Bobby Petrino's play style, but like a lot of people don't remember Lamar Jackson played under Bobby Petrino.
Bobby Petrino's smart. He'll mold it to fit his talent.
Alex, here's what I would say about this situation. If Bobby Petrino thinks that KJ Jefferson is going to be a good quarterback in his system and wants him to stay, and he announces he stays, then I think Arkansas fans should come to the conclusion that that is the right call, because the supposed offensive guru that you have loved, lavish, and given so much respect to, so much adulation to, so much, again, credit to, you can't do that on one hand and then dismiss the idea that he thinks KJ could work in his system. Now, if he feels ultimately that KJ is not his quarterback, that he can't run what he wants to establish here at Arkansas, then it's probably best for both parties to split. And I think we'll probably see it again. I could be completely wrong, but I think we'll probably see an announcement in the next week or so that KJ Jefferson is either entering his name in the portal, and then we'll see where his school is after that. That's my opinion. But that's how I feel about that, Alex.
I agree. Thank y'all for taking my call. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I think the
Let's
longer.
Let's get some stray bullets there.
Well, I mean, you do like to argue, even when just for the sake of arguing, because you actually think you're good at it. But
I mean, group think's bad for anything. I just try to bring opposing ideas into here every once in a while.
My point was it's complicated with KJ.
I don't think there's any question. This is a convoluted situation where Arkansas fans feel a great deal of gratitude to what he's done here the last certain years, but at the same time, what you saw in front of you this last season was putrid, and that's not all on KJ. We've established that. The offensive line was bad. Wide receivers weren't great. Running backs had some injuries. So, again, there's a lot of blame that you can pass around, including to the coaching staff. So it's kind of a weird thing because the quarterback always gets the most attention when things are good and when things are bad. Well, we know they were bad last year. So KJ's going to get the brunt of it. But if he's so
terrible, how does he have all these records? You know, that's a hard one to overcome.
He's not I don't think anyone on here has, and maybe I've missed it via call or via text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, I don't think anyone has said KJ's terrible and horrible.
No, we got 2 or 3 over here on the text line. He's it's trash. It's trash isn't a compliment.
I do think, and I didn't see those, but now I have. I do think that we do need to look back to 2021, why the offense and why KJ was so successful is because number 16. I mean,
but that was one. I mean, you don't break school records on 1 year for careers.
Yes, but this is potentially going to be his 6th year, right?
How many yards did Burks have that year?
He had over 1,000 yards.
Okay, but that doesn't.
And I
might give you some season records.
Double-digit touchdowns as well at that point. So he's been a starting quarterback. He got here 2019, played in 2 games, the LSU and Mississippi State game, played in the Missouri game in 2020 where he started. He might have played another game that season. And then in 2021 starter, 2022 starter, and then his 5th season, 2023 is starter.
22 he missed 2, or I know he missed Mississippi State, LSU. Was there a third one?
He was hampered the entire Liberty game, basically.
So, anyway. All right, Chuck, coming up in just a minute, brought to you by the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. If you're an angler and you love the White River and you love the cold-water bass fish, this is the perfect time of the year, particularly at the holidays, to ask for one of these rogues as a stocking stuffer. Perfectly fits in the stocking. It'll suspend in the strike zone longer, helping you catch more fish, whether it's on the White River for a big brown or one of those big bass you can show off from Beaver or Table Rock or wherever. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LearnEd.com, and tackle stores everywhere. Ask for it by name, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
All right, when we return, Chuck's going to join us. We will get to some of what Eric Musselman had to say about Oklahoma, get his thoughts on Charlie Baker's report, and more. Stay with us. It's the Morning Rush.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Hey, this is Hunter Yurtek, Director of Athletics at the University of Arkansas, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car,
voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49.
it means making deals. But what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, accolades.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Know where they're going. Some have just jumped in. I do want to talk more about that coming up, and bowl opt-outs, which are kind of in the same type of thinking, and we'll do that in just a sec.
Hey, I want to talk to the people that are in charge of the website and your online marketing and things like that at your place of business. Maybe you're the owner, or maybe that's your responsibility, and you finally said, hey, I am in over my head, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I need help. Or, hey, you already know up front. You're like me. I don't know anything about building a website. Let me focus on what I'm good at and let someone else focus on that. Modular Orange, the people we recommend, they can build you a great-looking website for your business for $95 a month. There's no upfront fees, so there's no, $5,000, $2,500 retainer. We'll pay the other half on it. No, none of that. No upfront fees. You start paying $95 a month once your website is done and goes live. And Well, how long will that take? I need it for the first of the year. I bet if you call this week, they can have it up and running. Usually 2 to 3 weeks is the average build-out time because they have a great team of people that can get it done for you. So if you need help with hosting, creating, writing, launching, securing, all those things that have to be done with your website, our friends at Modular Orange here in Fayetteville are the ones to call. And they're, like I said, here in Fayetteville, local people you can talk to. 479-755-3043, 755-3043, or online at modularorange.com.
Chuck, good Thursday to you, man. You getting excited about this weekend? I'm ready to drive over to Tulsa in a day or so.
It'll be a good game. I enjoy this game. I enjoy going over to Tulsa. That's an area where we've got a lot of Razorback fans. I mean, there's a lot of Razorback fans in Tulsa, and they'll be there Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard game. I don't think people are just starting to pay attention to college basketball outside of Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't looked, Oklahoma's a really good team, number one. And I saw the basketball power index, the predictor on ESPN yesterday had OU at like close to 70% in winning this game. So this will be a uphill battle for the Hogs from the tip.
I guess they're 8-0. Was it last night or the night before? They beat Providence by around 20, I think. Blew them out. So, Oklahoma's good, and this will be a real test. And I guess we'll find out if Brazil's going to play, and that'll be obviously a big storyline going in. If he can play, Arkansas, I don't know if he's 100%, that, you say they're at full strength, but if he can play, you're awfully close. If he can't, you're not. So I'll be anxious to see how that goes.
And you said something yesterday, Tommy, about around-the-clock treatment. I didn't think there was a chance Tremont Mark was going to play on Monday. It's like there's no way. He was just in a wheelchair less than basically a week and a half ago. And sure enough, he's out on the floor. For Trevin Brazil, who Coach touched on earlier this week, didn't get a chance to practice yesterday. They're going to try him on the underwater treadmill. But, I mean, in today's technology, even as bad as that looked and as bad as a sprain can be, you just never know with these guys coming back.
See, I had the total opposite view when it happened. I thought that's just a basketball sprain. He'll be fine. I didn't think it was that big a deal, honestly. And obviously, it's he's not recovered from it the way that I think they'd hoped he would. They're different, different type injuries. Mark and Brazil, different injuries, absolutely. But you're right. I mean, they do things now to get guys ready in a hurry.
Yeah. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers can come back from an Achilles.
Let's not compare it to that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you're talking about technology and new treatments. I mean,
I hadn't seen Aaron Rodgers on the field yet.
Oh, but
I've seen him on television.
Is he supposed to?
We're talking about it, though.
I think he's
well,
supposed to play.
First off, he didn't. That's a whole different subject. I don't want to wade into that. But he, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a torn Achilles.
Exactly. But here's the thing. I think we can all relate with a rolled ankle. Every one of us has stepped off the curb wrong, stepped off the side, and there's a lot of sports injuries the average Joe can't, correlate to or empathize with. But I think a rolled ankle we all have had at some point.
I played sports my entire life. I did not roll my ankle till after college. I had never rolled my ankle my entire life. And then now basketball, I have to wear these ankle braces because I do it all the time. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but
I stepped out of my garage carrying something wrong and stepped on something.
Well, you got that ice. If it's icy,
I don't even have that excuse. But I'm just saying it's happened to all of us at some point.
Yeah, it's not
and we know it hurts.
Well, here was what Coach actually said about Trevin Brazil, his exact words in regards to his status for Saturday.
A severe sprain, will not participate in anything that we do today. Possibility of him going on an underwater treadmill to walk tomorrow. So not a glowing report. It wasn't something that he just woke up the next day and felt fine. Still got some more days before we play, but unable to shoot around or anything today.
So you think about what Trevin does on both ends of the floor. He is top 5 in the SEC in shot blocks. Him and Chandler Lawson, they're both elite in that area. And then he's top 100 in all of college basketball in three-point shooting. Spaces the floor. Mekhi Mitchell can't do that. Jalen Graham can't do that. So if he's out, they're going to have to tinker some things. And they might go small, which is going to be interesting because, guys, OU can rebound the basketball.
I thought the most significant thing he said there was we've still got 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Trevin Brazil brings a lot. And if you've watched Arkansas play, you know what he brings. And you do know, as you said, there's a difference between Trevin and some of the other guys. But let's see if he plays or not. And it's Thursday, I think, by my count.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're right.
They're still over 48 hours before they tip off. And as you said earlier, Ty, they can do a lot of things now. So I wouldn't rule him out.
I just heard underwater treadmill. I'd just like to see one. That sounds interesting. How do you not electrocute yourself? I got lots of questions.
Yeah. I'd like to experience on one of those. I will say, Chuck, you referenced the Providence game. I'm happy Oklahoma won that game. I want these guys to be undefeated heading in there. You think about what's happened the last 2 years. You kind of blew them out last year. 2 years ago, you got blown out. I kind of want this to be a back and forth kind of tight game, which it kind of sets up to be on Saturday. Oklahoma's a lot better. They were picked, I think, 10th or 12th in the preseason wise. And Porter Moser had a bunch of guys out of the portal. I think this is a much better game than we initially anticipated as it sets up right now.
I think preseason polls in basketball probably mean less now than at any point in time because every roster is different every year. You don't really know what you have. You have a collection of players, but you don't really know if you have a good team till you start playing. But, yes, Oklahoma out of the gate, they're 8-0. I won't say they've defied all expectations because I don't know that those expectations were really founded in anything other than just what they did last year with different guys. But, yeah, they're good. And Arkansas is going to have to play well.
Well, pardon me for not knowing, and I shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to, but would Arkansas be the best if they were 9-0 after this game? Would that clearly be the best win for OU?
I think probably so.
I think they've got to win against USC.
Yeah, but Bronny didn't play in that game.
Okay, didn't.
And I think if they beat Arkansas, that would be certainly as good a win as they've had.
And here's an interesting. I know you might say, well, North Carolina could have been. This is Arkansas's first quad one opportunity. Is Oklahoma first time all season they're playing a quad one opponent, if I remember that right. So again,
Duke was ranked 9th in the country, but not high enough in net to qualify for
because it's got to be within a top 25 team if you play them at home.
So 9th in the poll, but 25th in the not in the top.
Isn't that
20.
weird?
Yeah, that doesn't go together, does it?
Unless I misread it, this is Arkansas's first quad one opportunity against Oklahoma, and I know Muss.
Not even North Carolina. Wow, I hadn't read the net.
It's so weird because these rankings, for example, Arkansas's in the receiving votes category of the AP poll, right? So you would think, okay, they're probably in the top 50 or in it. Their net ranking as of this morning is 111.
Yeah.
So it's early. Muss was just as befuddled by it as we all are, but there's a lot between now and March.
Forgive me. I was looking up exactly what the parameters are here. Where was North Carolina ranked? Or where were they in the net?
So I think neutral site, it has to be top 50.
Neutral site, top 50. Home top 30.
Top 30. Okay, I was close.
And away, top 75.
Right.
So, I mean, now whether or not it's a quad one win right now, I mean, yeah, you're right, and that matters. But, I mean, we are in December. I don't want to wade off into the weeds here. But it's an opportunity to beat a good team.
No question.
And it's an opportunity to beat a team that's probably going to be in the NCAA tournament. And so, therefore, whether in December it's quad 1, quad 2, quad 15, when you get to the end of the line, if that team's standing and they're in the field of 68, you benefit from beating them. And it might not kill you even if you lose to them.
Yeah. You mentioned the number of Razorback fans in the Tulsa area. You've been to every one of these that have been played over there. I guess what has it been, 2 now? And this will be the third and final one of these.
Third and final.
How neutral site has this been, or has one had an edge over there? I know with OU, if their football team's really good, they don't pay a lot of attention even to a good basketball team till after the bowl game.
We've had a few more. I don't think it's been like 75-25 or anything like that. But we've had more people. We're going to have to find some things out. Even though Oklahoma's our, next door neighbor, and even though we've watched them play football all our lives, I don't know what an average crowd is at the Lloyd Noble Center. I don't know what they draw for baseball. I have no idea how many people go to a women's basketball game there. I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to learn some things about Oklahoma. We're going to learn some things about Texas. That's a long way of saying I don't know how excited an Oklahoma fan is when their basketball team's 8-0. I don't know.
Look at
I know if they were 8-0 in football, we'd hear about it 24/7. But in basketball, I just don't know.
They did not look like in that Providence game they had much of a crowd. But, again, that's a week game. You don't know what it would be on a weekend. There are some good, like let's say when Baylor or Kansas or one of these or Houston now that's part of the Big 12, what that look – because it's one thing, again, Bud Walton Arena, for example, didn't have a great crowd on Monday night. But we know what that crowd is going to be against a marquee opponent like Duke or a weekend game. So there is a difference. We've got to, again, put that in perspective once conference play starts.
And, you look at Lloyd Noble, I think once we get them into the league next year, it's easily going to be the worst basketball facility in the conference. I mean, and I say that not to disparage Lloyd Noble, but there's not been a long-term commitment to
even Hump Dump in Starkville.
I think, Lloyd Noble is not very good.
Okay, yeah, disappointing. And I double-checked. They have Arkansas is actually I think that North Carolina game was a quad one. They're 0-1 in quad one games. So again, back to that outside. I think this Arkansas Oklahoma. And we know about their softball program, how good their softball program is. But this, to me, with Norman being as close in proximity as it is to Fayetteville, has the best potential for it not really a rivalry, but to actually become somewhat of something.
Hey, we all have that OU fan. We want to just get under their skin. Boys, just start calling them a softball school. When they get after you about how good Oklahoma football is, y'all are a softball school. That just drives them crazy.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on where you live.
That's a good point. Yep.
We talk about Fayetteville and Norman as though all the Oklahoma and Razorback fans are collected in Fayetteville and Norman. No. Oklahoma is their state's team. With apologies to Oklahoma State University, there are more OU fans than OSU fans in that state. And Arkansas is a Razorback state. So you can go up and down that western wall, and you can live in DeQueen. And you feel it the same way somebody does in Fayetteville, because it's a lot closer to Oklahoma and some of those folks you got to work with every day than it is for us. So, and you also consider too, like when the Razorbacks play Ole Miss, when they play over in Oxford, pick your sport. The eastern half of the state goes the same way the western half of the state will go to Norman. I think regularly when the Razorbacks play over there. But I think a lot of it does depend upon where you live.
Hey, I grew up on the Western Front. I've had many a verbal spar with them OU people.
Yeah. This is so Muss got asked about that. Hey, what do you think about the significance of OU, them joining the league? He kind of had a different approach.
Not really. I mean, no. I mean,
it was funny.
Whether we were playing, Texas or look, they're a really well coached team. It's great they're coming in the league. Proximity, all those things make a lot of sense. But I'm not looking at Saturday's game and not for 1 second and saying, oh, wow, they're coming in the SEC next year. How are we going to play this game? I mean, I don't really care that they're coming into it at all.
Again, he doesn't have the same approach that, let's say, a lot of people in the River Valley do in this side of the state when it comes to wanting to beat Oklahoma in anything. I don't really care what approach he has towards Oklahoma as long as they win the game on Saturday. But
he just wants to win, and he wants to beat Porter Moser.
Yeah, so. And I do think, again, the perspective you guys brought up, depending on what part of the state, Eastern Arkansas, it's Ole Miss. Southern Eastern Arkansas, it's LSU. Central Arkansas, and across the state, it's Texas. Northwest Arkansas, I still don't think it's Missouri. Maybe it'll come to that point. Western Arkansas, it's going to be OU. But different pockets. Again, Texas is always going to be number one. But then the number two, like you're saying, it's just relative to where you live. Like Ole Miss is high for me. I hate A&M more than anything. But there's a lot of Ole Miss alums in Central Arkansas where I grew up. So that, again, the proximity, being as close as I was to Oxford, that's what it is for every part of the state, like we're saying.
Well, no, you're right, and it'll continue to be that way. I think, I think what Muss was talking about there is I don't think you approach this game any differently because they're going to be part of the SEC next year. Nor, frankly, do I think you approach it all that much differently next year when they are a member of the SEC. I think, as he said many times, each game has its own identity. We're going to see Oklahoma a lot in basketball, and it's going to be fun. But this Saturday, quite honestly, is about Arkansas continuing to play well because they've lost 3 ball games, and Oklahoma hadn't lost any. So, when you look at Arkansas' situation, they got to go over there and win a game. Hey, let me pause just for a second and talk to you about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. When you buy a home or when you sell a home, lots of times there are things that need to be done in addition to just finding the house you want or maybe settling on a price. If you're a first-time home buyer particularly, inspection, title companies, lenders. There are things that come up. There are things that, maybe you don't think about when the process begins. The thing I like about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is you're dealing with a trained professional. You're dealing with somebody that understands the market, knows the people. They've got relationships with some of the best builders in the Northwest Arkansas area, and that's of value when you're making a real estate deal too. The thing that I think separates them, though, is they put all these things together and they get you from contract to close. That was my experience as first a buyer, then a seller, and then a buyer, and then a seller. And each occasion, it was a process that went well. I was happy when it was over, and I think that'll be your experience too. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith, Branson now. And you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
All right, let's go to the McClarty Daniel hotline and welcome in Sterling, who is in Center Ridge this morning. Sterling, welcome in, buddy.
I've been doing great, guys, and I haven't been able to check any social media or read the paper this morning. Usually I come into work, I get the paper, get a cup of coffee, check out social media, check out the sports news for the day. But today, when I got here, they treated me like a brownie, a batch of brownies full of X-Lax. I had to it went to work, you know what I mean? So I had to get after it. But so has there been any updates on KJ? And if not, to me, this is just, and of course, I'm no insider. I'm just an old Hog fan, just getting to go to work every day. No inside information. But the way I see it, between the tea leaves, it seems like both parties are kind of like looking, and if we don't find anything better than the other, we'll come back together. So it's almost like a couple that doesn't agree to date other people, and they looking around, and if this is the best we can do, we'll get back together. If not, if you do better, good luck to you, and if I can find something better, good luck to me. Is that the way anybody else sees it, or is that just way out of whack?
I never thought about it that way. Sterling, appreciate it. I think that there's better quarterbacks in the transfer portal than KJ Jefferson. There's also probably better opportunities for him moving forward than what he has currently right now at Arkansas. Maybe at a lesser school. I wouldn't necessarily say in the SEC, but maybe at a place that he can thrive at this point. What I would say, as I brought this up earlier, if Bobby Petrino thinks that KJ is their guy, then you roll with it, and you probably try and support it, and you understand that his offensive acumen, his play calling, his ability to read a quarterback is a lot better than your own, because that's just a fact. Now, if he doesn't believe that KJ is your guy, even if you're a fan of KJ Jefferson, it's probably in both parties' best interest for KJ to move on at that point.
I think NIL money has a lot to do with this. I think we tend to focus on the football and what we see on the field as fans. Kind of like in basketball, we tend to focus on Oklahoma coming into the SEC. The participants think about different things. Just as Muss thought about something different in terms of basketball, I think players and coaches right now look at it differently than fans do. It's in large part about NIL money with a lot of these kids, and I've got to believe that goes to the heart of this issue too.
I think, and it's just, I agree with what Chuck's saying. I think it may even go to the point that, you're trying to figure out where you're at with the NIL money because of this new Edge program, and you're trying to get fan involvement at a smaller level but a greater number. I don't know if fan participation at those levels have anything to do with trying to strike a final deal, but in the end, it is about money, and the school's got to have the money. So I got to believe the Edge NIL program's got some kind of piece on the table here.
Well, how much you've got to work with obviously has something to do with it, yes. But I think sometimes when you talk about, can I fit this into my budget, that tends to be more with players that you're after, with new guys.
Yeah.
I think there's an understanding that, hey, if so-and-so comes back, he's had a great year, I'm probably going to have to give him some more money. Landon Jackson announced he was coming back. I got to believe his NIL deal's better than it was last year. So I think with the players that you already have, you know that if we decide to bring them back, this is what it's going to cost us. And we got that money. I don't think that, frankly, KJ is going to demand a dime more, or he's going to command, I should say, a dime more than what he commanded last year. So, where you are. But now if you're another school, if you're another school and you would like to have a KJ Jefferson or a different quarterback or a different tackle, but you got all this money allocated to guys you got to have back, at that point, then you begin to have to make decisions. You know, can I afford this guy? Can I piece him in here and maybe, you know, usher this guy out over there? But there's no doubt that, and I'm no expert. I mean, I'm just, you know, talking off the top of my head like a lot of people are when they come, you know, when it comes to NIL. But I've got to suspect that when you're trying to fit somebody new in, that's when you've really got to take a hard look at your NIL budget.
If I was a coach, I would, and this wouldn't be followed to the letter, but I would do my best to instruct my players that not share what they're making, right? But even again, that's not
good luck with that.
That's not going to fall, because what you just brought up, I think, is important, Chuck. So with everything's rising in cost, right? Salaries, cost of anything, right? I would expect that certain players who are coming back this season and have already made their NIL deals or whatever, the incoming ones, though, are going to require more based on the current market right now. So you might bring in players that cost more to you, even if it's not necessarily a sure thing that you know what you got there. And I think that sometimes.
No, there's no question.
And I
mean, there's financial risk every time.
And I think that causes strife in the locker room sometimes when these guys that have been here are making a certain amount of money, and then they figure out, well, this guy's making more, and he's not even contributing as much.
Well, they already know the players know who's. You know, they got a pretty good idea about who's making what. We may not, but they know. Yeah, I think some of that stuff does creep into the locker room. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, and good luck getting all of them to. Hey, I signed a statement here. I signed a piece of paper, said I wouldn't talk to anybody. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, but see, also too, we talk out of both sides of our mouth. We say, well, there's no disclosure. You know, there's no disclosure. Guys don't know what other guys are making. It's not fair. But then out of the other side of our mouth, we go, I don't think they ought to tell anybody. So there are so many complexities to this.
Well, and I'm sure from the player's perspective, the more money you make, the better. Well, that means I'm a better player. Well, that doesn't always equate that way. We see it in pro sports all the time. A guy making a whole bunch of money and a guy like Brock Purdy making less than $1 million. That, you know, some of these guys.
Put that in perspective. There's probably 20-some-odd quarterbacks out there in college football, 20 or 30, that are making more than the potential MVP of the NFL.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the NFL, looking boys here at the Bet Saracen app for this weekend, them Dallas Cowboys, a 3.5-point favorite at home against the Eagles. That might shock some that the Cowboys are favored by more than a field goal.
Did it get a boost with McCarthy having appendicitis this weekend?
Maybe. And then the Chiefs, that's your afternoon. You watch the Chiefs in the 3:30 game, then you watch the Cowboys Sunday night. There you go. You got your Sunday plan. Chiefs are favored by 1.5. Go to the Bet Saracen app, download it in the Apple App Store, or get the Android version, whatever works for you. It works anywhere in Arkansas, and they've got all kinds of fun and unique games, live bets, parlays, and more, all there. The Bet Saracen app. Check it out now, betsaracen.com.
All right, we brought up Landon Jackson. How important is him coming back? We'll address that next.
It's time to harvest the year's best deals during Value Bonanza at WT Equipment. Right now, get a New Holland Workmaster, Power Star, Boomer, or T5 Series tractor for $0 down with 0 payments and interest for a year. No money down, no payments for 12 months, and no interest for 12 months. The deal only lasts through December 31st, but the inventory will not. Visit WT Equipment today. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to be jolly, but not if you're stuck on a ladder cleaning out those old rusty gutters. It's time to make your holidays merry and bright with Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market. Imagine a Christmas without worrying about muck and mud and shingle grit clogging up your gutters. Leaf Guard guarantees it will never ever clog, giving you the gift of peace of mind. And here's a festive offer that will have you singing carols all the way to the phone. Our end-of-the-year sale. Get a whopping 75% off labor on a complete Leaf Guard system. But that's not all, my friends. There's no need to check your list twice for any hidden fees, because you just need to know that the offer does not include the cost of material. And here's another reason to celebrate. With our special financing offer, there's no monthly interest if paid in full within 12 months. That's right, a Christmas miracle for your wallet. So don't let the old gutters be the Grinch that steals your holiday cheer. Call LeafGuard at 501-664-5400 or visit LeafGuardandMore.com. LeafGuard of Arkansas, making your Christmas merry and your gutters worry-free.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Merry Christmas from your friends at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. This month, save a whole lot of money with year-end pricing on a huge inventory of Rath road-ready vehicles. Plus, follow us on Facebook for how you can win $1,000 Christmas recovery cash. Remember, whether you're buying a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Looking for the perfect gift for your golfer this year? The Golf Nut has you covered for the biggest selection of name brand clubs, apparel, and accessories in the region. Golf lessons are always a great idea. Call Matt Brooks today at 646-4430. Can't figure out what to get your golfer? Gift certificates are always easy and available in the shop. The perfect gift is at the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop in Fort Smith since 1994. Merry Christmas.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we should see a bounty of sunshine. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the low to mid 60s. Tonight, we should see an increase in the clouds once again. Early morning lows expecting to drop down into the mid 40s. And then the clouds expected to stick around for Friday. High temperatures low to mid 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
I think a lot of these schools that are in that 70 group will try to put something together in this trust fund like's being proposed. And again, this is a proposal. It's a conversation starter. It is not something they're ready to implement, vote on, and make a change, but it begins the conversation, which means this is probably at least a year and probably 2 years out because they generally don't move fast with these kind of things.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line. This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
So Arkansas football fans got some good news yesterday as Landon Jackson announced he's running it back in 2024. As Tommy and I talked about at the front of the show this morning, hopefully it's not running it back like the season you had this year. Now, Landon,
He had a pretty good year.
Yeah, 6.5 sacks, 13.5 tackles for loss, 44 tackles on the year. He had himself a pretty good individual season. Best game of his life against Jalen Milroe and Alabama, and hopefully he can improve on that this year. You heard Tommy at the top of our open talking about the proposal from Charlie Baker. We are going to talk about it this hour as well because we haven't gotten to that with Chuck either.
Hey, do you have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That's a problem right now as we all watch the news and see where commercial rates are going and even where mortgage rates have, even though they dipped recently, where they are at long-term, double what they were like 3 years ago. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed rate loan from Farm Credit. They're the longest terms available in the ag industry. And you say, well, what if I lock in now and then rates drop? Well, that's no problem because when they do, you can easily readjust your rate with no new refinancing application, no new appraisals, and no new title work either. They just make it simple for you at Farm Credit. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender.
So I had a Morning Rush listener approach me yesterday when I walked into Papa's Pub, and he goes, I guess Landon got paid $500,000. And I was like, I don't know what he got paid, but I guarantee you his fiance, you think she got a gift yesterday? I think there's a possibility.
She'll have a good Christmas.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility of that. For those who don't know, Landon got engaged this past summer, and I don't know when his wedding is, but yeah, I would say that she's going to have a good Christmas, as he will probably have a good Christmas and all of his family as well to this point. I was kind of surprised a little bit that he came back to campus, to be perfectly honest. Not that he was going to transfer necessarily, but based on where he was ranked by Mel Kiper in his rankings on defensive ends. But, guys, you are absolutely thrilled to have him back. And with all these departures lately, that's kind of the first big coming back one at this point outside of Luke Hasz, Jalen Braxton and company.
I think he probably listened to football people as opposed to Mel Kiper. And I think that may have been part of his decision-making process too. I don't think it was based on where Mel Kiper had him.
Yeah. And that's, again, they get much better valuations, much better feedback than what we see from draft projectors and stuff to this point in time. But I do wonder what he thinks his ceiling to be, because when you think about college football in today's day and age, you've got to have that one guy that can just blow through everyone. We were talking with Clay about this a little yesterday, and Landon was good last year, and he had one of those games against Alabama. But the issue is he was often getting double-teamed. He was getting chipped. He's almost got to have some help this next season, guys, if he can hit his ceiling based on how many opposing offensive coordinators and line coaches are going to game plan against him.
Well, you want him to be as good as he can be, but you also want the team to be good. And, you know, it's not about getting Landon Jackson his stats or getting Landon to the NFL or – you know, it's about the team being good. And if the team's good, then Landon will get all those things. Sometimes I think we forget that these are actual human beings. They're actual human beings with, and you mentioned a fiance in the case of Landon Jackson. parents, brothers and sisters, girlfriends. There's all kinds of stuff at play. My point is, sometimes they may not be ready to go. Sometimes they just may not be ready to go. And we look at everything from a sports sense. We're adults. We think about money. We have to. Sometimes kids just aren't ready to move into that world yet in any sport. I'm not saying that was the case here, but I'm saying there are times that it is the case, and we don't always think about that.
You think about the guaranteed sort of money that he gets from coming back to campus. Tommy, you brought this up earlier with the idea of not knowing if you're going to make a 53-man roster, to other things that he could have to deal with. It's almost more of a sure thing at some points to just come back to school and try and up your draft stock in certain situations. Not every case, but maybe in this one.
Yeah, and I think we forget about the youth of these guys. Sometimes, and I know they've all had exposure to things that most kids 20, 21 years old have not. That doesn't always mean you grow up on the same rate and have the same level of maturity, or like you said, Chuck, you're not ready to go because of family, because of relationships. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm having a good time and making pretty good money here in Fayetteville now with NIL. I mean, we're still thinking with the old mindset of you got to get to the NFL to get some money when you can stay here and you got, I don't want to say plenty of money, but I mean, these guys in some cases are making tens of thousands of dollars a month. I think we still think with the old way of thinking where, hey, they're trying to scratch together a couple quarters just to get a meal, and it's nowhere near that now.
No, it's not. Again, we're tending to focus on the money, and I think the one thing that people, again, forget is that, let's say you give 5, 6 hours, 8 hours a day to your job. Well, you still got 16 other hours in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're drafted by the Jets. And in the case of Landon Jackson, you've grown up in Texarkana, went to Pleasant Grove High School, moved to Fayetteville. All of a sudden, I'm 21, I'm living in New York City. I don't care how much money you're making. That's a shock.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget, again, these guys are human beings. Sometimes that plays into kids' decisions. Now, look, I'm not naive. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it is all about the money. But in this case, I can't help but wonder if maybe the desire to continue to be a college football player for another year wasn't at least somewhat of a factor.
Yeah, for those, I mean, if you've ever been on a college campus and maybe
it's a pretty good life.
Yeah, and especially as a football player. And Landon was a captain, and he's one of the top dogs of his team, albeit a bad football team at 4-8. But I think even in that situation, you're still one of the kings of the hill. Like, you're still one of the big dogs, and it's, trust me, I had friends. It's not a bad life to live in that situation.
And we also forget in all this NIL, full cost of attendance is still there. They're still getting that. They're that Jones Family Center where they cook every meal for them. It's still there.
Number one in the country in money
Pell
spent.
Grant money.
All of this NIL is the bucket of cherries on top of what is already a better campus experience than 99.9% of the students on campus experience. So none of that other stuff goes away. And I think that the fear right now for people in Hunter Yurchek's chair and his staff's chairs, how do we fund all of it? How do we raise the money to fund all of it?
You've got you got parents out there trying to pay their kids' wage through the University of Arkansas. So we've somehow lost sight of the fact that going to college for free and not having any debt when you walk away, like, oh well, there's nothing to that. Ask a parent out there who's got a second mortgage on their home. They'll tell you what a big deal it is.
And we lost sight with the TV money and the coaches' salaries all sent us down this path years ago. Brought to you by APAC Arcola. They have immediate openings in Northwest Arkansas right now. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, diesel mechanic, got experience in a quarry, maybe you're an electrician, there's a variety of positions open right now with APAC in a variety of areas. You can go to jobs.crh.com, see the interactive map that will point you right to the open jobs that are available. Great pay with a sign-on bonus. Benefits that include insurance, retirement, and profit sharing as well. Here's that web address again, jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
All right, when we come back, we'll get into our Morning Rush Daily Question. Arkansas will not play Oklahoma in the BOK Center moving forward. Who do you want to play there if that happens? We'll talk about that next.
Shop local, eat local, be local.
This is former Razorback Kanoy Kennedy, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV and
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, accolades.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Yeah, I don't know what team that would be. A lot of people say they like to play it, but then, when you try to present dates, all of a sudden it doesn't really work out. So who that would be, I think that this series was started because of a relationship between Lon Kruger and myself, because I had worked for Coach Kruger. Once Coach Kruger left, have incredible respect for Porter Moser, but we weren't really sure that it would continue. And then I think really administration took over at that point.
So you'll play in the Lloyd Noble Center and in Bud Walton Arena moving forward. But will they continue to play a game in the BOK Center in Tulsa, where Chuck brought up earlier there is a good-sized population of Arkansas fans there? Guys, I still think there's a potential opportunity to play there. You've got Oklahoma State. You've got Kansas. You've got K-State, Wichita State, some surrounding programs that are close. My dream, what I hope happens, is that they somehow, some way get Kansas involved on this, where they play one of these in the BOK Center, they play one of these in the Sprint Center in KC, and they play one in Bud Walton Arena and one in Lawrence. I don't know if there's an appetite from Bill Self to do that, but that's my dream scenario on this.
Well, that'd be great, and I'd be right there with you on that. But when you really look at the business of college sports, I don't know that that's going to happen, because the truth is it's better business for Kansas and Missouri to play one another and their age-old rivalry than it is for Kansas to play Arkansas. And that's just the truth. And I can't see them playing both.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there may be a time, and I enjoy it when it happens, when Arkansas and Kansas are paired up, whether it be in one of these preseason tournaments or as we saw last year in the NCAA. It's a special game when you play them. My gosh, they invented the game. It's their game. So, when you play Kansas, there is something special about it. But I don't know if they would be able to get that schedule. Kind of like what Muss said. It all sounds good. The devil's always in the details. And sometimes it's just hard to bring it together.
If we're going to play Kansas, let's do it home and home. I'm going to go to Fall Gallon.
With that.
I'm going to go to Fall Gallon.
With that.
I don't know if they care about coming to Bud Walton, but I do care about going to Fall Gallon.
It would be more of an advantage for them to play in Kansas City or just as much of an advantage for them to play in Kansas City as it would be for us to play them in Little Rock.
Yeah. The one thing with Bill Self that might be attractive to Tulsa is he's got experience there. He's coached in that city, and that and he's from that area, right? Isn't he Bixby or?
He played his college ball at Oklahoma State. I don't know where he's from.
He's a Northeast Oklahoma.
He's a Northeast Oklahoma guy. I don't remember the town, but. I could see where that might be an attract, but I bet he's had other opportunities to schedule Kansas. But if you're Kansas and you have Fall Gallon, why would you ever play a neutral site that wasn't in the Bahamas or Hawaii or somewhere like that? It doesn't make sense if you're Kansas.
And moreover, as much as I hate to say it, if you're Kansas, why would you schedule Arkansas? It's a team that's going to be primed to whip you. It's a team that's going to be good enough to beat you. When you're Kansas, you're playing on battleships, you're playing in Atlantis, you're playing in New York. You're one of the schools that everybody wants for these preseason tournaments. And you have to play Missouri again.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri wants to beat you worse than anybody.
They invented the game, didn't
It would be
heard?
like Arkansas and Texas. It would be like Arkansas and Texas.
Yeah.
Kansas playing Missouri.
It is a great game.
I can't see Kansas wanting to play that, although I agree with you. It'd be great if they could. I'd be all for it.
Listen, we've had the luxury of getting to go some cool places with the ESPN Arkansas. Hinkle Fieldhouse, Chuck, where you and I were at 2 years ago, where Hoosiers was
Not
filmed.
together, but, we were both there.
Yeah, we were both there. We saw each other.
I'm joking.
Saw each other at dinner. Had some of that awesome St. Elmo's cocktail sauce.
It was good.
Then I got a chance to go to the Dean Dome 2 years ago when I was in Chapel Hill. Because, going to Allen Fieldhouse for a game a couple years back in December, they waxed Colorado. But that is, like you said, we got to explore the facility, see the James Naismith basketball. If you are a college basketball fan, you've got to make it over there at some point.
Well, we've kind of gotten sidetracked. But It would be nice to play Kansas. It'd be nice to go to Fog Allen. In terms of Tulsa, I think there would be a desire to play some games over there. Whether or not, again, the business of college basketball is going to allow you to do that every year, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to believe that it's being considered. I mean, I've got to believe that. But as Muss said a minute ago, again, that sounds good, and actually doing it are two different things.
Here's something I picked up from Muss on you notice how he said the administration. So one of the reasons the game in Dallas for football-wise was formed was to get students in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to come to Arkansas. This is also, Tulsa is a pocket of students and young high school men and women that they would like to see attend Arkansas. And I could see that being also playing into this idea of having an off-campus event where you attract some people because, again, I think there's a good chunk of high school students that would consider Arkansas if given the opportunity.
Well, Fayetteville's busting at the seams right now, boys. You got 32,000 students up here right now.
It's going to get worse.
I don't know. They may deep six me for saying this, but we got enough people in Fayetteville right now. There's enough students right now.
They, Chuck, at one point, we had these study rooms across the dorms, and it was in the middle of the concourse basically, and they started putting students in there because they didn't have any housing for them at this point. Now for the first time ever in the last year or so, freshmen are allowed to live off campus, and that was not the case for 100 some odd years or whatever it was. But yeah, again, the original question, what game do you want to see at Tulsa at some point if they continue in the BOK Center? That's your Morning Rush Daily Question presented by Red River Dodge.
Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. You can log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by V's Barbershop with 2 locations in Rogers and Bentonville. Visit V's Barbershop online at vbarbershop.com or in person and see why V's is a cut above the rest.
All right, let's talk to Mark, who's in Fort Smith this morning. Mark, welcome in.
Hey, morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man.
Doing great, Mark.
You sparked my interest a little bit ago talking about these ball players. My son was a stud high school ball player. They were like state runner-up 3 years in a row, whatever. And then he goes to Division II up in Miami of Oklahoma. And he said it was such a culture shock change that he wasn't even much interested in it anymore. So we got to remember these are kids. That's one thing that I didn't really realize until I had that situation. But these guys, money or not, they're kids. And I think we need to maybe think about that a little bit with all this other stuff that's going on as well. So I'll sit in and listen and see what you have to say. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, there's no question it's a commitment, and we kind of referenced at the job aspect, 8 to 10 hours a day, whatever you have to work. You think about practice, film, other extracurricular stuff you have to do with football, basketball, baseball, name the sport. It takes up a good chunk of your time.
How many of us here, just talking into microphones this morning, were equipped to handle all of that at 18, 19 years old?
Oh, I would be dead.
Okay. Now,
I'm honest enough to say it. I'd be dead.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have made it to 30.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be equipped to figure out how to manage my time and be disciplined enough to do it all. And then add into that, let's just put it into terms of our age. Let's just say, Chuck, someone dumped an extra $50,000 in your bank account when you were 18 or 19 in a college town. You'd be equipped to handle that too?
Well, no.
You think about what all these these guys are facing now, and it all sounds fun and glamorous. But let me tell you, it can get you into a lot of trouble because I don't think any of them are equipped mentally. I wouldn't have been. I'll be first to tell you, I wouldn't have been.
Well, you've got a lot of downtime, and I'll go back to what I said earlier.
Yeah, idle hands make mischief.
You've got 16, 18 hours in the day where you're on your own. And they're not calling you up and saying, hey, man, you got study hall in an hour. Nobody, if you don't want to do something, is going to make you go do it, other than the time when you're at the football facility. You're on your own. Other than that, you got more money than you know what to do with. It's burning a hole in your pocket. And some kids can handle it, some kids can't. Some adults can handle it, and some can't.
It's exactly right.
How many
people listening now don't have their the checkbook register quite where it needs to be.
What did
a bunch of us.
Tommy, what did your late father used to say? If I ever came in a bunch of money, I'd spend the most of it on wine and women and
women and horses.
And waste the rest
And then waste the rest.
Tug McGraw had that great quote. He signed that contract. He said, what are you going to spend all the money on? He said, well, booze and women. Then I'll probably waste the rest of it.
Oh, that's yeah, so basically the sum of our discussion, Tommy, Chuck, and myself would not be equipped at 18 years old to do what certain guys on campus and gals on campus are doing right now.
I'm saying some of them aren't handling it well, and that's why you do have some problems. That can lead to not winning as many games as you need to. I mean, it could lead to you not being the kind of teammate you need to be to your players and your coaches on your team.
Well, there are two different things, college and pro. In college, you don't have as much unsupervised time. And that's the way, even though these guys are making more money than they've ever made in many cases, you've still got a chance to keep it together. You know, as a head coach, with all the layers of staff that you have now, there's still a chance to keep it together. But at the professional level, again, I mean, you're grown men. Everybody's fighting to keep their own job at the professional level. There's not any real mentoring going on. I'm sure as heck not going to train my replacement. That stuff doesn't go on in the pros, and it is a cutthroat world. It is an every man for himself world, and I suspect, in fact, from the players that I've talked to that have gone pro, the team aspect, band of brothers, all that stuff, it's not quite like it is in college.
Let's talk to Melvin, who's in Sheridan on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Oh, is he done? All right, Melvin hopped off this morning. So, yeah, no, I think that is a change. And Matt Jones, who you hear on halftime every day from 11-2, can speak to it. I hear him talk more about the brotherhood of his Arkansas teammates, Chuck, than at any point when he was a Jaguar or other stops in the NFL.
I suspect it's kind of like, grown-ups at their jobs. If you work at a big place, you got a lot of people there. You probably make friends with a handful. And the rest of the guys are coworkers. And whereas in college, you're brothers. There's much more of a camaraderie at the collegiate level than there is at the professional. Just like, if you're a non-athlete, hanging out with your buddies in college, a lot less pressure than, being in the work world.
Yeah, it's kind of like the bond that Tom Murphy and Bob Holt shares. We welcome him in on the McClarty Daniel hotline. That's a brotherhood, right, Tom? We were talking about brotherhood, you and Bob?
I'll tie. One time, Bob and I went to Palo Duro Canyon before the Texas Tech game and shot a short video standing together, and it was windy, and it was, nice canyon. And people started giving us a bunch of grief about how goofy that was. You know what? They can eat it, man. We had a good time, and Bob and I are buds.
I can think about all the trips that you've taken over the years in these long. Didn't you tell us one time that Bob also almost killed y'all getting out on the wrong lane or whatever? He drove out in the middle of the road.
Oh my gosh, man. We need to back off a little bit, but yeah, one time in Houston, coming back from the A&M game, there's a lot of lanes turning and underneath an overpass deal, and Bob almost went the wrong way, but we got it fixed.
Well, Arkansas football at least got some positive news yesterday. Landon Jackson coming back. I know we've talked a little bit about Rocket Sanders into the portal, but what did you think about Landon's decision to return to Fayetteville, Tom?
Well, we had been kind of hearing that might have been his move, and I would think of all the guys on the team, he ranks in your top handful that you would want to have back because, he showed it in the Alabama game. And, honestly, after that game, you thought, wow, man, after a game like that against a, premier team, and they were struggling on the O-line a little bit at that time, that, he probably would think it was time to go pro. But, hey, I know that he really likes Deke Adams. A lot of these guys on the D-line really like their position coach. And maybe he feels like another year of seasoning will lead to a better pro situation because he's really got the prototype body at 6'7", and he gained that weight to get up to 280. He's a team captain. So there's a lot of positives. Perhaps his influence and guidance can help other guys make decisions and be better players next year as well.
Tom, he was one of the guys, and by the way, we're talking with Tom Murphy on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. He was one of the guys you got out of the transfer portal a couple of years ago. And I know this year you've lost some key pieces already, most notably Rocket Sanders. Maybe KJ is one of those guys in the future. But when you look at when this thing started compared to where it is now, would you say Arkansas has had more of a net positive in enrollees than they have departures with the transfer portal?
Well, and we've only got a few years of data to look at, but man, there's been a whole bunch. Yeah, I would say that the number of impact guys they've brought in has certainly equaled or exceeded the losses. And even though you don't want to minimize some of the guys, like losing Jalen Catalon hurt, last year's team. Talking about I guess it would be this year's team. And they've lost other guys who have been big time contributors. But to think that you've got a Drew Sanders out of the portal, and then Jordan Dominic, only here last year, he had a huge year for sacks. They got good value out of John Morgan and Tank Booker, and a lot of other guys. I mean, Jaden Hazelwood was a huge addition. Matt Landers. I mean, there's a long list of guys who have been impact transfers, and I don't think there's quite as long a list of dudes that they've lost.
Tom Murphy with us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. We were discussing earlier just kind of the radio silence with KJ. What does it mean? What's your take on the fact that neither side, the school or KJ, said much about the portal and his future? What's your reading of the tea leaves here?
I got to say, a few days ago, I was really cogitating on what could be at play here, and now I'm just it's like going to Hawaii, man. At some point, you just kind of chill, and you go with Hawaii time, and so now it's KJ time. But I do think that he's probably weighing, first of all, whether to go pro or not. What will my evaluation be? How much money would I make? Long term, and then if you can balance that out by making another year of, just say, the going price, as Matt Rule pointed out, might be $1 million to $2 million. If he can make somewhere in that range next year, is that more than he could make as a pro? And how much more would he enjoy that? Because you are a big man on campus. And just as Chuck was saying when I came on the air, it's a different thing, man. The camaraderie you have in your college locker room, what it means to be on campus, it's a different level than in the NFL when you walk out of that locker room, you're basically on your own. You can hang with some of your buddies, but it's a different deal altogether. And so those are the things weighing on KJ. And he's from Mississippi, man. It's like pouring out the molasses. It goes a little bit slower, man, when you're in Mississippi.
Yeah. Tom, Arkansas introduced the Arkansas Edge NIL collective that's fan funded, crowdsourced, however you want to label it. Have you heard anything from the initial week or two here that this is, I guess it's been just over a week now, it was last Tuesday, kind of what the early returns are on this and if fans are buying in and getting involved?
I have not checked with UA officials on what it's like, but we did see Hunter Yurachek posting the day after, it was a great first day and all. They needed to kind of drum up that positivity and that momentum because that's what players are looking at. How much money is in your collective? What slice could I get and things like that. So that is worth looking into. And I was asked by a lot of different radio guys I've gone on to, the opposing team throughout the course of this year, where does Arkansas stand in NIL? And I never looked, super deep into it, but I would always say, I think they're fine. They got the Walton money and the Tyson money and, the Hunts up here. And but I think they were slotted about where their revenues are in the league, which is, somewhere around the 9 or 10 range. And I think they needed to kind of spark that up. And I don't know if they can, even approach the Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia type levels, but certainly they needed to create some momentum regarding their NIL. And I think they've done that some, but I would have to dig in a little deeper.
Tom, we'll leave it there this morning, man. We appreciate you jumping on with us as always. We'll recap that OU game on Tuesday and talk some more football, probably get some more portal news in regards to incomers and outcomers next week.
Yeah, it sounds like a winner. See y'all.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Chuck, sounds like Tom has a similar read on some of this KJ stuff. Just, I think both sides still trying to feel out what the best option is for the school and for KJ himself.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of these things that I know continues to dominate a lot of the speculation. We know now that Rocket's not coming back, and for several days there it was, well, what's Rocket going to do? And we have the answer to that now. So naturally everything's going to revolve around KJ and what he's going to do. And I just I'd be surprised if it goes along very much longer, but. Again, I just can't help but believe that NIL is a big part of this, whether it's here or, somewhere else. I don't know that he's going to have an opportunity to play pro football next year. He'd probably have an opportunity to try, but that's probably less of a guarantee than whatever NIL money he would get as a collegiate. Hey, if you want to look good this weekend, if you got big plans, V's Barbershop's the place to go. We talk a lot about, their services and what they do and the feel that you get when you walk in there. Man, how about a straight razor shave? Man, they got it. I mean, they can keep you, they can make you look sharp when you walk out of there. Now, their haircuts are great. You're going to have an opportunity to escape from the world for a little bit, watch some television, and just kind of, step back for a little while. But they do offer a lot of these services that make you remember how it used to be. When maybe you went to the barbershop as a ritual every week, or you watched your dad get that straight razor shave and it had a certain smell to it. And, you'll feel that when you walk into V's Barbershop. Now, they've got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're in the Pleasant Crossing Shopping Center in Rogers. They're also on Southwest 14th Street in Bentonville. That's right off 71B. They've got 2 locations in West Little Rock. And you can log on to vbarbershop.com.
I do find it interesting when talking about the future of KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. So Rocket is, according to 247 Sports, going to take a visit to South Carolina. Chris Paul just announced an offer from South Carolina. Initially, when KJ was expected to hit the transfer portal, he was linked to South Carolina. Of course, Dow Loggins is the offensive coordinator there. Saw Trey Knox go there in the offseason. It would be I'd find that intriguing if 1 or 2, if not all 3 of those guys ended up going to Columbia this next year.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, nothing would surprise me. But, the one thing that I will say, and I'm not talking necessarily about these guys, although they're the ones that are right in front of our face right now. When you have a player that goes into the portal and then a couple of days later announces he's going on a visit somewhere, it's kind of naive to think they've not had some conversation along the way, and that's tampering. That's tampering. And, just take, for example, in your job. I mean, let's say you're thinking about leaving. Or let's say a day comes up and, boy, I just can't do this anymore. Well, you're not going to leave until you got somewhere to go. And at the very least, you're going to float a trial balloon out there with some prospective employer before you actually pull the trigger. So I just find it difficult to believe that a lot of these guys, when they make a decision on Tuesday and then they just say, well, I don't know, a day's passed, I think I'm going to go visit this place.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I don't think that's how it works.
I'm taking notes. Talk a little slower, Chuck.
Yeah.
We can replay the tape for you. Hey, we're brought to you by Gaston's White River Resort. It's the holidays, and sometimes we're searching for a unique and perfect gift to give someone that's on our list, or maybe it's corporate gifts for clients or fellow teammates where you work. A Gaston's gift card in any denomination always is a perfect gift, whether it's for a weekend stay and a getaway in one of their cabins with some guided fishing, or $50 to enjoy in the restaurant or the gift shop, or anything in between. Gaston's can fix up the perfect gift card for you, however many you need, and whatever denomination you need, those that are perfect for the holidays. 870-431-5202 for more details and information. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is Drew Morgan, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Hogs! Holy Hog!
This ad is for the paint store in Van Buren. I doubt you thought paint was anything like football, right? So for football, you need a team. For painting, you might need a primer, the perfect color, maybe a top coat, and bug juice to keep the spiders and bugs away, right? So it takes a team of products to make the winning paint job. The right place for that is in Van Buren at the paint store, and the right place for certified grass-fed beef from M&M Farms in Rudy. That's right, all at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
Looking for the perfect gift for your golfer this year? The Golf Nut has you covered for the biggest selection of name brand clubs, apparel, and accessories in the region. Golf lessons are always a great idea. Call Matt Brooks today at 646-4430. Can't figure out what to get your golfer? Gift certificates are always easy and available in the shop. The perfect gift is at the Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop in Fort Smith since 1994. Merry Christmas.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howell in Van Buren.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Binges, blackouts, regret, shame, trying and failing, to drink less or quit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I know how scary drinking too much can be because I struggled with alcohol misuse for most of my adult life. But I also know that it is possible to drink less or quit. And medication can help. Naltrexone is a safe, effective medication that makes it easier to cut back or quit drinking, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. I started Or Health to make access to naltrexone convenient and private, to help people like me regain control over alcohol.
If you're ready to stop drinking or just drink less, text DRINK to 200-300 to get a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. Our licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it online. We'll deliver your prescription right to your door. No doctor's office visits required. Text the word DRINK to 200-300 to get started today. That's DRINK to 200-300.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, I'm going to do something here in a Hog Update that we've never done since I've been on this program. We're going to lead off with volleyball. Y'all, for only the second time in program history, this team is playing in a regional. Now, they've lost to Kentucky twice this season, but third time's the charm, right? They'll take on the Wildcats at 3:30 today on ESPNU. Now, Kentucky, this is their fifth time to make a regional since 2017. Hopefully, Arkansas comes out on top today as Coach Jason Watson's squad, again, has had a tremendous season, and they're trying to keep it going as of 3:30 today.
First time they've been in the Sweet 16 since 1998.
Yeah. And you're
you're in the elite now.
And you're playing the elite of the elite if you win this game, presumably, because you're in the Lincoln Regional with Nebraska, or Super Regional, I guess it is. This setup is almost identical to baseball. As far as you got the regionals last week that they hosted in Fayetteville, now you're in a Super, and you move on to the championship round with a win this weekend. It's going to be tough taking on Nebraska, who's one of the elite programs in all of college volleyball. I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about college volleyball, but that's they're number one. They had that 100,000 people or whatever it was showed up for that volleyball game.
Yeah.
Evidently, there are some really good teams at the top nationally, and the reason I say that is from the outside looking in. I mean, Arkansas is good. Arkansas is really good. They've made it to the Sweet 16, and yet they're the 3 seed. They're the 3 seed. This must be a really tough regional, or there are a lot of really good teams at the top in college volleyball. Because, the year they've had, and there's 16 teams left, and, they're the 3 seed there. So, it tells you Kentucky and particularly Nebraska are very good.
Other news here to share with you this morning. Congrats to Jalen Braxton and Luke Haas, who were honored as members of freshman All-American teams. Jalen Braxton was an honorable mention. Luke Haas was first team and tight end freshman of the year. Both guys announced that they are coming back to Arkansas, and hopefully we see more of a ceiling. We saw a good glimpse of Luke this ceiling and Jalen Braxton, who eventually became a starter as a true freshman. Guys, those were the highest 2-rated players from this last year's class, and really, I know Luke got injured, but they delivered a good chunk of the year.
I can remember when he got injured, we were talking about he was probably on the way to a freshman All-American season, and I can remember saying he's going to be a freshman All-American anyway. He played less than half the games. He's first-team freshman All-American.
Freshman tight end of the year.
Freshman tight end of the year, whatever. And, that tells you about the guy's ability, and it tells you what others think about him too. And I don't think they feared they would lose him. I don't think I'm revealing anything there, but I don't feel like they felt as though they would lose him. They felt good about keeping him throughout the process.
For those who don't know, he's from Bixby, Oklahoma, which was basically two and a half from Fayetteville. It's not too far, so I would guess it's probably pretty easy a commute for his family to come to games in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. We mentioned this earlier. Landon Jackson coming back, announced yesterday that he is going to come back to campus as well. So you've got a few guys. Ty Washington is another name to this point that's also announced that he's coming back. You did lose a guy earlier this week. I think yesterday, Malik Chavis has entered the transfer portal. It's not many guys that come out of Rise in Arkansas and play football. He's one of them. So wish him well. He's a guy that's been a Razorback for, I think, 4 years now, and his final year looks like it's going to go elsewhere.
I hope Malik Chavis has a great life. And you said something right there that is really important. Lots of kids from Rising, they don't go to college, much less have a chance to play football and be on full scholarship and, live the life that he's lived the last 4 years. I don't know where he's going to go. I'm sure he'll go somewhere where he can play a little bit more. But I'm pulling for him. Regardless of who he plays for next year, I'm pulling for him.
All right, last thing, Arkansas women's basketball back in action. They take on Louisiana Tech tonight at Bud Walton Arena. It is a faculty and staff appreciation night. Talia Scott trying to continue her stretch. Back-to-back SEC Freshman of the Week in the conference. She has been on a tear so far this season.
She's a player now.
Yeah.
She's a player.
Man, they played some good teams, too. They Florida State in that ACC, SEC Challenge, came home, played UCLA, number 2 in the country. Mike Neighbors is, taking on all comers, so to speak.
Yep. That is going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Back to the McClarty Daniel hotline where Brent is waiting this morning. What's up, Brent?
What's up with you guys, Chuck, Tommy, and Ty?
Brent, what's shaking, man?
Hey, man, not much. I just was calling. I talked to my buddies in South Carolina. They were fired up about Rocket Sanders coming to South Carolina this weekend for a visit, supposedly. I said, well, he had 1,400 yards year before this one, and he had 200 and something this year. So, best of luck to you. And I don't know, this just dawned on me. Do you realize that all of our people that entered the portal were, a lot of them, 3 of them were captains, Rocket, Chris Paul, and KJ supposedly? That tells you something about what they think about how seriously they take their captainship.
You've had a captain leave the last 3 years now. Joe Fouché 2 years ago, Simeon Blair I think last year, and then this year. So I would say it's probably not.
I think that's just the nature of the beast.
Your captains are your good players. Good players are going to have more of a marketplace in today's world. To me, it makes sense. It means,
all these kids emulate the pros. They emulate the professionals they want to be like. They, in their fantasy world, are testing free agent waters. Now, some of them, it's not a fantasy, but some of them it is.
Yeah.
Well, free agency is about the biggest thing in college football right now, and not just, again, what we're keeping an eye on here in Fayetteville, like Rocket entering the portal, but, across the sport, there are some marquee guys. I do want to, at some point, get into the idea of guys speculating. So they've entered the portal, right? And they're debating if they're going to play. Some guys are still going to try and play the bowl game, though. What do you guys think about a guy that's not all in playing that final game? Would you want him to play, whether it's a quarterback or something else? I just saw that, and I thought that was kind of interesting at that point. I would think there would be some pushback towards that since they're out the door. But then there's also the idea of a coach trying to coach his last game before he leaves, where everyone knows he leaves. So I guess there's some differences there.
I think bowl games collectively, now more than ever, are just right at the precipice of becoming irrelevant. And I hate to say that, but I think they are. The pros or the guys that enter the portal, they're not going to play. There are schools out there that I guarantee you they just as soon not go. And, you're talking about, for example, what's the Orange Bowl? The Orange Bowl is one of the most storied bowls in the history of the college game.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 2 teams that don't want to be there. And you think about some of the things that the bowls that, fall further down the line. Now, personally, I like bowls. I've never been to a bowl where I came back and thought, man, I wish I hadn't gone to that. I've had a good time at every one of them. But I think we're probably about to the point where the only people that care about certain bowls are the fan bases of the schools that are there. And I wonder, too, in some of these bowl games now, how many tickets they're actually going to be able to sell.
Yeah.
TV now look, TV money is such that they don't really care, but it is not a good look when you have a lot of empty stadiums.
But if you're a sponsor or if you're the stadium yourself, why do you want to host something that no one's going to go to?
Well, because of television eyes, because of eyes on the television. It's still a good investment to sponsor a bowl game, at least for a little while.
Hey, this morning we are brought to you by our friends at Razorback Camper Sales. You can always check them out online at razorbackcampersales.com or come see them in Hot Springs for your travel trailers, your fifth wheels, and your pop-ups. They offer full prep, setup, and none of this costs a dime to you. You got the best parts and service department right there with you again in Hot Springs. Over 50 years of experience that they've been helping people across the great state of Arkansas with everything you need. Again, in Hot Springs or online at razorbackcampersales.com. Let's talk about this Charlie Baker proposal when we come back on the Morning Rush.
Hog fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
The only Razorback store that is owned and operated locally by a family of U of A alumni.
And the Stadium Shop on Razorback is the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
That's right. Hang on, what?
Yeah, I said it's the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
That's what I thought you said, Dad.
Matt, don't egg him on. He's the reigning champion of his own conference.
Cool. Do I get a plaque or a trophy?
Anyway, folks, we have the largest selection of all things Razorback.
We do have pretty much everything a Razorback fan could want, from bedroom, tailgating, living room, hats, you name it, we got it.
You can give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. Or come by and see us at 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville next to Baum Walker Stadium. Hey, Matt, you want to tell them about the interweb, Instagram,
sure thing,
Facebook
Dad.
thing?
I think he means the website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. And it's Facebook, Instagram, and X.
What about Twitter?
You mean Twitter, not Tweeter.
And it's called X.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Yes, we know, dear.
Just remember, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Semaglutide and Terraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is the Morning Rush.
Merry Christmas from your friends at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. This month, save a whole lot of money with year-end pricing on a huge inventory of Rath road-ready vehicles. Plus, follow us on Facebook for how you can win $1,000 Christmas recovery cash. Remember, whether you're buying a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast bake goodness into your morning. Pick any 2 handcrafted favorites for only $5. Choose a made-from-scratch biscuit stacked with sausage and egg, biscuit and gravy, or a country fried steak biscuit. With Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast, you get double the breakfast goodness for just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we should see a bounty of sunshine. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the low to mid 60s. Tonight, we should see an increase in the clouds once again. Early morning lows expecting to drop down into the mid 40s. And then the clouds expected to stick around for Friday. High temperatures low to mid 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
I think a lot of these schools that are in that 70 group will try to put something together in this trust fund like's being proposed. And again, this is a proposal. It's a conversation starter. It is not something they're ready to implement, vote on, and make a change, but it begins the conversation, which means this is probably at least a year and probably 2 years out because they generally don't move fast with these kind of things.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
All right, it is hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a Too Stupid Thursday. Here, Tommy there talking about what's going on right now with Charlie Baker's proposal to changing the current state, the current dynamic, a lot of things with NIL. We will get into that coming up in hour 3. We've also got some calls and texts to get to on the McClarty Daniel hotline as we close out a Thursday here the next hour.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, right next door to Sodi's at the intersection of Lee Avenue and Phoenix. It's right there if you hadn't figured out where I'm talking about. Great place for a holiday family get-together, company get-together. I was in Uncorked last night and saw some friends that their office was getting together for their Christmas party. It's a perfect place for that. They got a private room if you need something a little more private and quartered off. They've got rooms that you can use for your dinner and your get-togethers. You can always find top-shelf wines, great liquors, and a great assortment of beers. But if you want a classy, upscale atmosphere, but it's still relaxed and everybody's having fun and has a smile on their face, you're going to love Uncorked. Go to uncorkthefort.com. You can make reservations just for a date night and a weekend get-out. They also have great live music every weekend pretty much at Uncorked as well. You'll love the atmosphere. Uncorkthefort.com or stop in Uncorked, one of my favorite places. 5501 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
All right, before we get into, again, this proposal from Charlie Baker, we've got some calls that have patiently been waiting. Let's talk to Reggie, who's from Little Rock, but he's in Shreveport, Louisiana this morning. What's up, Reggie?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Good, Reggie.
Hey, man, y'all talking about the captains leaving, man. I got to say, I knew some captains that were total jerks. I don't know nothing about these guys, but all captains ain't good captains.
Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're right about that, Reggie.
I had one at Dunbar Junior High School. I graduated way back in 76 from Central High. You can do the math. And he was a total jerk. And shout out to Houston Dale, shout out to Sydney, and shout out to Boothead. All right, have a good morning.
Reggie, appreciate the call.
Thanks, Reggie.
Yeah, not all your teammates, even though they're captains, are going to. And I bet some of those guys are still jerks today.
Former players will tell you.
Yeah.
They know the story.
They know
That's for sure.
The truth. All right, Brian in Greenwood's up next on the McClarty Dana Hotline. What's up, Brian?
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Good, man.
Doing great.
Well, what I want to talk about is kind of a hopelessness feeling I guess I have for the transfer portal when it comes to the Razorbacks. And I guess the point I'm going to try to make is net loss versus net gain. But over the last couple of years, we've lost players to Colorado, Texas, LSU, South Carolina. Those teams have kind of come in and cherry-picked our first-teamers, and they've cherry-picked our captains. Then we go out and go to teams that are beneath us in the non-Power 5 and pick up people from Louisiana Tech, UCF, Temple, Cincinnati. With your net loss versus your net gain, and I mean, right now we're about to lose our 3 or 4 year starting quarterback, our 3-year starting running back. So these bigger teams cherry-pick us, and then we go down to the lower level and cherry-pick them. But how are you ever going to get better if that continues to happen?
Well, I don't think that's what's happening, respectfully. I mean, let's just look at Arkansas's defensive roster right now. Snacks Johnson, Baylor. Al Walcott, Baylor. Jaheim Thomas, Cincinnati. I'm just going through my list right now. Dwight McLaughlin, LSU. Landon Jackson, LSU. Trajan Jeffcoat, Missouri. John Morgan III, Pitt. Tank Booker, Maryland. Kiwi Rose, La Tech. You're right there, but he played pretty well. Greer, USF. Let's not I think we're better than USF, but, Greer contributed. So I hear what you're saying in some respects. It always seems like when you lose a guy, he's going to greener pastures, and, we're not necessarily getting a quality replacement. Now, if you want to point to the offensive line, if you want to get specific, I think that's an area where, we can talk about that. But generally speaking, no, I don't think Arkansas is traded down. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I just don't know how else to say it other than to say it. When you go 4-8 and you go 1-7 in conference play, and everybody wants the coach fired until he goes out and hires an offensive coordinator that you love, when I look at this roster, when you're in that situation, are the guys that are leaving, have they really been that valuable to you? I don't know how else to ask other than to just say it like that. Mm-hmm. When I look at this roster right now, you mentioned 2 guys a minute ago, Luke Hasz, Jalen Braxton. Very important to keep guys like that. But some of these veteran guys, it's not like you've won a bunch of ball games. It's not like they're leading you to the promised land. The truth is, in this portal, not just for us, but for a lot of teams, is you're trading one slightly disgruntled player for another slightly disgruntled player. Sometimes their ability outweighs all that, and you can put them in a situation where they're not disgruntled anymore. But if a guy leaves one place, he'll leave you too. Don't kid yourself. So, but I think all in all, Arkansas has fared pretty well. In fact, I think the national rankings, when you look at how Arkansas has fared in the portal the last couple of years, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ty. You pay a lot of attention to this. I think they've been top 10. I think they were top 10 last year in terms of their portal class. So it's hard, it's hard to make those snap judgments, but I think they're doing okay.
Your portal class has consistently been better than the high school class the last 2 or 3 years, to Chuck's point.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's, the reality, I've said this before, if Arkansas was just subjugated to playing college football and recruiting college football high school, you're probably going to be closer to 6-6, 5-7, or 4-8. The portal is going to help you out more than it's going to hurt you. It has been, I'll push back on Brian and Greenwood's points because I said it earlier, I'll say it again, it has been more of a net positive than a negative. And I know this year might be different. I'll admit that. Losing an all-SEC running back in Rocket Sanders, losing A.J. Green, losing a good linebacker in Chris Paul. I think this year has stung, at least initially, more, but you don't know
all
who
of those guys are replaceable.
Yeah.
All those guys are replaceable.
But the first, I don't know that the first couple of years of data that you want to look at from the transfer portal are going to hold the same trend moving forward, because I think schools have now gotten their act together with NIL money and the portal and putting the two together. I think we're all seeing it. So at first it was about a better opportunity, maybe a little bit of money. Now that schools have organized their NIL efforts and their portal efforts, I think it's a different game than it was 2 years ago in December.
No, you're right.
So
no question.
Here's my question, and I think us three of this can relate, and there's probably a lot of listeners that can relate to this. Most of us don't participate in the jobs we're doing because of the money. I've got a friend right now that's a lawyer that hates waking up every day, hates his job. Now, he's making $250,000 plus a year, and he's living in it, but he hates his job, hates with every fiber of his being, hates his job. I don't think we hate our jobs. So, again, the premise that it's about, and I get initially when you're high school, and listen, I've never been in a situation where I've always been taken care of. I'm about as middle of the road, middle of the class it gets. So maybe my perspective isn't as, it's different than some, but we've got to find a way to communicate to across the board, not just Arkansas. It's not just about the money. Even that's where we're trending right now, because what will happen is you'll realize when you get to certain campuses, regardless of sport, is I made the wrong decision because I got paid more here when I could have benefited long-term going somewhere else for less money. And that's not just applicable to Arkansas. That's applicable to the mid-major kid in basketball that elects to transfer and move up a classification. That's applicable to so many different young men and women that are entering the portal right now or trying to make more money somewhere else. It's not, even though it's about the money, I understand that. You'll find, I think in the coming years, you're talking about the transfer portal down the road. I think a lot of these people in a couple years will find, you know what, I made the wrong decision by just going this opportunity because of more money.
Well, I love your youth and your idealism, Ty. But I think more and more every year it's going to become about the money.
Yeah.
Just,
You're
we
right.
started the hour talking about Charlie Baker and what's being proposed right now. I mean, it's I'd like to share your idealism. I really would. But I'm too old and too cynical. I think it's I think more and more, and I think we're particularly seeing it this year.
Well,
it's about these guys thinking they're free agents now.
Yeah.
And here's why it's going to get worse. The high school levels, in my opinion, are going to adopt similar, not the same, but similar principles and philosophies with kids being able to transfer. NIL money to some limited scale will make its way down to high school at some point. We're seeing it already in some states.
Oh, gosh, yes.
It's going to become an issue where by the time they get to the college level, and certainly by the time they've been on campus a year or two somewhere, this negotiating NIL money, this portal thing is going to be old hat to some degree. They're going to have been through that process a few times.
These are Little League parents on steroids. I mean, you think about how many times have you said in your life, man, if it wasn't for all those parents in the stands, those kids would be having a hell of a lot more fun out there playing ball right now. It's the parents that ruin it. And it's all of us. I include myself in this. We've gone crazy. We've just gone nuts. I mean, you think about this. We're paying high school kids and high school coaches, and it's legal. It's not that big a deal. And I shudder to think what these kids are going to be like when they're 25 years old and all that money's gone.
We're doing them no favors.
All that money's gone. And you know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be giving money to the next batch of them. And we'll have forgotten the names. And they'll be moving on down the road, and when they get to be 30 and 35, well, I wonder whatever happened to that guy, if we even remember their names. And somewhere along the line, I hope this blows up. Because I think it's, I think it's horrible. But I also know that these horses have left the barn, and I don't see a lot of things changing.
The only thing that can fix this is the horses that have left the barn have to run over the cliff. And I hate for it to have such a dramatic ending, but I think that's the only way you can fix it, is it to have a major blow-up of some sort where the public and the fans and the ones that really drive all the TV revenue, which has driven the coaches' salaries, which has really put us down this path of the players got to get this money and all. all of this has to blow up at some point to get fixed.
So, like, not playing in a national championship game, or like,
I don't know.
Say that?
No, I think they're going to have to be, and I hate to say this, but I think there will be tragic stories that come out of this over the next 5 or 10 years. I think there will be personal tragedies as a result of this. And I think some of these things, there's not, for example, I don't think there's going to be any congressional action until the voters demand it. Voters haven't demanded it. They're not going to demand it.
But
and I think I think along the lines of what Tommy says, something's going to have to happen. Some cataclysmic event would have to happen, and I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I'm going to sound really callous here, but it's just real life. I mean, we see people OD all the time. People still do a lot of drugs. We see people.
Well, that's why guys
alcohol.
like me aren't ready to turn it over to guys like you.
And we see people, alcohol, DUIs, killing people. A lot of people still drink. I think that because of the money that's being invested and being spent, they will push those, as you said, what could happen, transpire events under the rug because of the sport itself.
But everything you said is right, and we don't do enough about alcohol and drugs and other things. But the sad reality about all of us, and this is a commentary on all of us, we care more about our college team than those other issues.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And that's why this will, at some point, it'll have to get a lot worse than it is now before it will ever get headed in the right direction and get better.
Incidents happen in the National Football League, in the NBA, in the MLB, and
no, you're right about that. But what you said a little bit ago was that it's not always about the money, and kids have got to consider other things, college and things like that. That and saying it's going to, it's just going to continue and they're going to cover things up, those don't go hand in hand. Something will happen somewhere down the road.
I'm saying this is very public. All those things you're talking about are real life, but they're more anonymous. They're personal to you or I if it affects our circle. But this is very public.
I would say that's the perspective I want and wish would happen. But the reality, I think, is what's going to happen is this train's not going to stop. It's
that's what we said a little bit ago when you were being idealistic.
Yeah, I mean, again, but that's
taking you 10 minutes to turn into an old guy.
Yeah, that's unfortunately where we're at right now. All right, let's talk to Kagan and Piggott this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Kagan, welcome in.
How y'all doing this morning?
We're good, man. Turning cynical by the minute.
Man, I kind of want to disagree with Chuck's statement that he made a while ago. He said everybody's replaceable. Yes, everybody is replaceable. There's no question about that. Arkansas is not going to go in the portal and get a 1,400-yard rusher from SEC. It's not happening. Ain't no way. They're not.
I think we got one on campus. I think we got one on campus right now.
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. That way we'll be all right. But, I mean, they keep offering 3-stars and stuff in the portal with JUCO players and everything else. We need to be offering the top players. But we got money, or at least we think we got money. Maybe we don't. Maybe that's why. They're trying to go a little cheaper route. But I will say this. You get what you pay for. You get a 3-star linebacker from whatever university, and it costs you, $60,000 a year. You're going to get that 3-star guy. You offer a 5-star linebacker that's already at an established school like Georgia or Bama that's got 70 tackles and 10 sacks or whatever. You're going to get that play. I mean,
he's not going in the portal. That guy's not in the portal. It'd be nice if he was, but that guy's not. That guy's not in the portal.
Well, I bet there will be. Before it's all said and done, I mean, the portal's only been open for a couple days.
I think it's 30.
If
you've got a 5-star linebacker at your school, if you got a 5-star linebacker at your school, the money that it would take to pry him away, we don't have that kind of money. Very few do, because his own place is going to offer him in excess of $1 million to stay.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this, though. I mean, how much is Rocket Sanders worth? What is he in the portal? Is he a 4-star? Is he a 5-star? I mean, is he a 3-star?
He's a guy who rushed for 200 yards last year. And
exactly.
By the way, when he rushed for 1,400 yards, we were 6-6. You going to be happy with that every year?
I'll take it over 4 and 8.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
I appreciate y'all taking my call.
See you, Kagan.
I don't look. I'm not saying Rocket Sanders is not a good player, and I'm not saying that Arkansas will do as well in terms of what they get out of the portal. But I think they got a guy in Augusta that's going to be really good. I think we saw at the end of the year that Augusta's got a chance to be a really, really good back. And I got nothing but respect for Rocket Sanders, and I hope he does well. I'm sure NIL is part of this. He's got a kid. I mean, once you start making money, you got to keep making money. And nobody's looking to take a pay cut. So I hope everything works out well for him. But I do think he is replaceable. I say it respectfully. We're all replaceable. Not anybody out there that's not replaceable. Here's what I wish more than anything is that they would pay radio people more money. If they do that, I think you and I would be a lot happier. Hey, investors, and I'm talking about money right now, they're eager for rate cuts in 2024. The Fed says speculation might be a little bit premature. What does that mean to you? Well, the guys on the Market Moment podcast are going to give you their take this week. They're going to talk about a lot of these national issues, and they're going to bring them home. Things you hear about every day. They've probably got a little bit better understanding than your average Joe, and they do have a very unique way of explaining it to their audience in terms that they can understand, and it helps you make a better decision, I guess, at the end of the day. Now, you can check out the latest episode of the Market Moment podcast by heading to market-moment.com. That's market-moment.com. And I'll remind you that Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered advisor. They're located in Rogers, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Kagan, I will say that, and everyone else listening, I think you've been at this point in time, as we're in year 4, you had 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 at this point, and it's subject to change based on who you bring in. You've lost the most initially from a playing time and a loss standpoint than you have the previous 3 years. Now, that's subject to change based on what happens the next couple of weeks, but at least I understand where you're coming from.
Let's see who they bring in. Let's see who they bring in.
Boys, big weekend coming up in Arkansas. We got the opening at Oaklawn on Friday, coming up tomorrow. The first races of the meet that will stretch into May of 2024. You want to be there this weekend, but you want to make sure you download the Oaklawn Anywhere app. If you use the promo code RUSH24, you'll get a $150 sign-up bonus when you get ready for Oaklawn this weekend with the Oaklawn Anywhere app. Sign up, get that $150 bonus on Saturdays in December, the 9th through the 20th, corned beef days. 2 sandwiches and a soda for just $1. Plus, they'll be giving away $25,000 in Christmas cash on Saturday, December 16th. Stakes races Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Get the Oaklawn Anywhere app. First post time's 12:30 on Friday. Look forward to seeing you at the races this weekend at Oaklawn, and get the Oaklawn Anywhere app.
We'll talk about Charlie Baker's proposal next.
Streaming live.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Did you miss the Oklahoma Outdoor RV Expo? Don't worry. RV Expo prices have been extended at Camping World. Shop top RV brands from your favorite manufacturers with new RVs starting at less than $5 a day. Plus, get even more for your money with a huge selection of reconditioned pre-owned RVs. Finance your RV with competitive rates and flexible terms through our national network of lenders. Visit your local Camping World to shop extended RV Expo prices today. See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I don't think players are as naive on this as they were even a year or two ago. I think you will see some players who will leave for what they suppose will be greener pastures, and then they're disappointed. But I think you'll see a lot more continue to leave because they're not playing.
So the transfer portal is a hot topic right now in college football and college sports, as is NIL, which Charlie Baker, who's the new head of the NCAA taking over for Mark Emmert, proposed something to 350-plus schools earlier this week. We'll tell you, kind of outline that proposal coming up as we continue on here on It's Too Stupid Thursday.
I know we've been in the middle of hunting season. I know there's a little bit of break for most of the zones in the state till after Christmas. But if you're a hunting enthusiast looking for an adventure of a lifetime, you really need to check out Kruger Safari Club. It's based right here in Northwest Arkansas. Our good buddy Jason Carney has been to Africa more than 75 times and can set up and guide you on the trip of a lifetime, as we've called it, and that it would be for trophy hunting in the Kruger National Park, ethical hunting done the right way with conservation in mind, staying in first-class accommodations, 5-star lodges, great meals, king-size beds, pools, barbecues, fire pits, everything you would want on a luxury vacation. And it's more affordable than you might think. You probably priced one of those whitetail hunting trips just right here in the United States. You'd be surprised to find out these trips right here are less expensive in most cases than some of those trips you maybe have looked at. Call Jason. Sit down, have a cup of coffee. 479-466-4001 is the number. 466-4001, or go to KrugerSafariClub.com.
So in a letter sent to more than 350 Division I schools, Baker wants the association to create a new tier of NCAA Division I sports where you can either opt in or opt out. The key in all this is they are required to offer at least half of their athletes a payment of $30,000 per year through a trust fund. This proposal would allow D1 athletes to offer unlimited educational benefits, no cap, to enter name, image, and likeness licensing deal with the athletes. As it's currently constructed, schools are not supposed to be able to do that, even though there's speculation that some do regardless. But this is it's a lengthy letter if you want to find it. There's plenty of articles out about it right now, and you can actually read his letter online. Chuck, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, the separation that Tom and I spoke to. It's pretty wide now between Group of 5 and Power 5. I mean, this would it'd be the Grand Canyon almost if this thing ends up coming into place.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you're basically creating an elite class. It's a class that most schools wouldn't get into, quite frankly. This is a lot of money. On the surface, $30,000 doesn't sound like all that much money until you start doing the multiplication. And I'm a little unclear on, what constitutes an eligible student athlete. I'm going to guess right now, on most college campuses, if you factor in full scholarship kids, partial scholarship kids, and I don't know I don't know how they differentiate there. I don't know if one's more eligible than another. I don't know. But, you're talking over 200 kids.
Yeah.
At $30,000 a piece, and that's about $7 million a year.
Yeah, 200. I figured it. If Arkansas is 465, did half, that's 232. Say you ended up at 250 student athletes at 30,000. That's $7.5 million. Now, here's where I'm a little fuzzy. Does this mean you can take money out of the operating budget? Is it money you still have to raise it privately?
I think you'd have to.
I don't see. I don't think you can go and tap the well at most places for another $7.5 million.
Did you not hear the administration has volunteered to cut some of the bigwig salaries?
Yeah. Well, there will be some of that go on though.
Well, here's the thing that you have to understand is this is just the ante. This just gets you in the game.
Yeah, that's the minimum.
This is not. These figures are before you get sport specific. That's before you start. Hey, we got to buy us a football team. We got to buy us a basketball team. We got to buy us these other athletes as well. And that's what you're doing.
Well,
and all that stuff's got to be figured in. It is going to be an enormous amount of money.
All of it's driving towards, I think the end goal for some is revenue sharing. All right, you got how much money coming in? You get what from the SEC office? How much in ticket sales? And somehow there's going to be a formula. That's the end goal. Now, whether they get there or not, I don't know. But one of the things I thought interesting in Charlie Baker's memo is these schools that would enter this subdivision would also have the right to vote on their scholarship levels, coaching staff levels, things of that nature. And I got to wonder, guys, do these schools really think they need 85 scholarship football players? Would they want to adjust that number to have?
I don't know.
I mean, it'd be worth a discussion. Do you need 85? I don't know. I mean, most out of 85, there's probably 20 to 25 that don't see the field in a given year.
Well, there's going to be all kinds of, what I'd call minutia items that'll come up. I mean, as you go along, there's going to be a lot of what-if scenarios that come up. But, here's the thing. If they do break off like this, if this proposal is passed, and we're headed towards something like this, and if schools are allowed to, use some of their athletic funds to help pay these players. Well, television revenue is going to pay for a lot of it. Just like television revenue pays for these high coaches' salaries right now. ESPN's got to figure it out, fellas. I mean, the best coaches in college football coach at the schools that, they have contracts with. And it's going to be that way with the players, too. They're going to be the best paid, and the TV revenue is going to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, if you want to watch those games, you can do that at Sassy's. They're in Fayetteville with 2 locations. You can enjoy their award-winning smoked wings, baby back ribs, those famous nachos they've got, and don't miss happy hour from 3 to 6. Now, if you need a get-together platter, I'll call it. We call them tailgate platters. You go to sassysbarbecue.com and order your Razor packs. They're perfect for holiday get-togethers or the next time everyone's coming over to watch the game. And again, happy hour from 3 to 6 at both Sassy's locations. Hey, when it comes to barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more, nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
All right, when we return, we're going to get into our SEC update in just a little bit. I know there's been some speculation about not just this weekend with Jaden Daniels, but his future with the LSU Tigers moving forward. We'll do that coming up.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from tuning.
Hey, this is Billy Ray Smith Jr., and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
It's time to harvest the year's best deals during Value Bonanza at WT Equipment. Right now, get a New Holland Workmaster, Power Star, Boomer, or T5 Series tractor for $0 down with 0 payments and interest for a year. No money down, no payments for 12 months, and no interest for 12 months. The deal only lasts through December 31st, but the inventory will not. Visit WT Equipment today. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Raheem Sanders. Hey, this is Landon Jackson.
Hey, this is KJ Jefferson. You listen to ESPN Arkansas.
Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast bake goodness into your morning. Pick any 2 handcrafted favorites for only $5. Choose a made-from-scratch biscuit stacked with sausage and egg, biscuit and gravy, or a country fried steak biscuit. With Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast, you get double the breakfast goodness for just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you for supporting our local small business and keeping your dollars here in the Arkansas River Valley. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help you with low flat fees and monthly payment plans. Call me today, 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
So we got a big SEC basketball game this Saturday when Arkansas goes to the BOK Center to take on Oklahoma. But you did have some games last night. I know we haven't completely shifted our focus to that at this point in time, but this is kind of the start of the year with Arkansas basketball being out that you watch a little more SEC basketball. Upset last night as San Francisco took down Vanderbilt. You have Clemson, who's ranked, took down South Carolina. And the lone SEC win last night was Texas A&M beating DePaul, who A&M, Tommy, is probably going to be one of those contenders this year in the conference with Wade Taylor being there for his 10th year.
Wade Taylor, the fourth, may be the best player in the league. We'll find out. I think he's averaging about 19 a game right now. So someone you got to contend with. That's a game you want to circle on your calendar because that's going to be an important game. So, time to start paying attention. Watched a little bit of who was it last night that was on? Had the SEC Network on? May have been A&M. I can't remember. It was A&M or South Carolina. One of the two. I watched part of two different games, and I don't even know if they were live. But I mean, it's just now you see it on the guide, and hey, I'll stop in here for 5 or 10 minutes where you haven't been before.
Yeah, no question. That's your SEC update here this morning.
And it's brought to you by Vichy Aesthetics and Wellness, semaglutide, Teraziptide. They are the weight loss game-changing medications. You probably heard about friends on the shot that have lost a noticeable amount of weight. Why wait till January 1st or 2nd to get started when you can do something about it now? And over the next few weeks, lose some weight where, hey, when you show up to that Christmas party or that holiday gathering, they say, hey, man, you're looking good. And you'll feel better, too. You'll have more energy. Hey, with semaglutide and Teraziptide, the cravings go away, the appetite goes away, and you find yourself just losing the weight because you're eating less and you're eating better. So call Vichy Aesthetics and Wellness. Set up a consultation. The first person you'll talk to is their doctor that's on staff. They'll make sure this is the right program for you. Then set up a program that's perfect for you with those weekly check-ins to hold you accountable. 479-343-8424 is their number. 343-8424. Virtual appointments available in Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. 343-8424, Vichy Aesthetics and Wellness.
Let's talk to Philip, who's in Bentonville on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Philip, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, we were talking about, this transfer portal is really big. And, you've got some student athletes that are leaving, and it could be money. But and I say this, and the reason why I'm saying this is you have, like I had a niece that was an athlete. She came from a smaller school. She went to a JUCO and led her team. Was a 2-year starter, and when she came out of JUCO, she was recruited by a smaller D1 school, multiple D1s, and my wife was able to go and do some of the recruiting trips for their deal. Now, I'm not saying every athlete is this and not every school, but some of the reason why they get in, and she ended up going into transfer portal for the reason is this. She went on a recruiting trip, and the school she signed, wined and dined her. They showed her, hey, you're going to be living here, da-da-da-da-da. This is how much we can get for, we can get you money. And so she thought it was the right fit. She gets in there, she signs. Her dad buys her a nicer vehicle to get her back and forth because she's going to be driving 11 hours back and forth. And she gets up there, and it's not what she was told. She gets in a dorm that wasn't what she was shown. The money that supposedly they said that, hey, you'll be getting coming here wasn't it. And she gets up there and she's not happy. So she transfers. But, those things that happen. So we have to take in consideration. It's not always the student athletes sometimes that are transferring. It's because these colleges are whining and dining these student athletes, and then they get up there and it's not what athletes thought it was going to be and what they were told.
What sport did she play?
Volleyball.
Okay. Philip, again, that's an interesting perspective, and we appreciate you sharing it with us this morning. I've had friends that have played all different sports in college. I was not gifted with any athletic ability whatsoever. I can't speak to my own experience. I can speak to something like that, not necessarily in Arkansas, but in other places, in smaller schools and whatever. That is part of the process. Coaches are really, really nice to you on your recruiting trips, as is the rest of the staff. And when you get there, it's not always the same to that point. I don't know about necessarily the dorm situation and stuff like that. What I will say is, though it is a popular, there are certain sports, men's football, men's basketball are predominantly across the board the only sports in the country that make money on virtually every college campus, right? Is that a fair assessment on my part?
Football and men's basketball pay for everything.
Yes. Okay. So that being said, they're going to be treated the best because they cover all the bills. So if push come to shove, if something happened, if there was a dorm open or something like that there was an opportunity for a men's basketball player, men's football player, or a women's, or in your case, your niece or whatever, that could have gone that way in terms of money. She may have been told something that may have been what actually happened, but hey, the NIL fund, you needed a little more to get that said basketball player, that said football player. So the volleyball player didn't get as much, or the men's swimmer didn't get as much. I want to make sure I'm not just justifying men or women. Here's the deal. The 30,000 that we brought up, Charlie Baker against proposal, where half the students or half the student athletes on campus can make that much. What percentage of those are actually worth it? What percentage of and I'll just pull this into Arkansas here in Fayetteville. What percentage of student athletes on our campus right now are worth not just scholarship, not just cost of living expenses, but an additional $30,000 a year? Y'all, it ain't $465 or whatever Hunter said on Arkansas Edge the other day. He'd tell you that. Privately, of course, not publicly. But most of the student athletes, not just here in Fayetteville, but across college campuses, they ain't worth sniffing $30,000 a year. Not even close. So, again, all these different scenarios, all these different now there again, the Jane Daniels comparison is completely, he's worth millions. He's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner or the finalist this weekend. And he is worth millions of dollars. There's no question about that. But there doesn't seem to be any middle ground or anything. It's just we're going to start here, and then everyone else is going to make at least this much, or at least half of them, excuse me. So I think that's important to bring up on this subject as well.
Yeah, I mean, because they have to do at least half. That's the minimum, at least 30,000. That doesn't mean some schools aren't going to do more.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but where are you going to focus that money?
Football.
I mean, what I hear from, was it Charlie? What was
Philip?
Philip.
What
I hear from Philip though is they were lied to. That's where it creates anger. You shouldn't shouldn't mislead and lie to somebody.
Yeah,
Why are you smirking?
No, I was just
You think it's okay to lie to somebody?
No. When I got here, I was misled. I was told all these different things, all this different creme de la creme that I was supposed to get. And
well, we thought the same thing.
Yeah, they thought they were. Getting
we thought we were getting creme de la creme too.
A better employee. It turns out it's just a load of, No, well, that's what I was.
Well, I'm just, in particularly, but Philip's experience, I don't think is unique. Or
it's not the only one. And
not the only one. What was the movie? The Blue Chips, where they had the band and all that, and then you show up for the first day, and then there was nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody there. So, hey, harvest your best deals today. It's time to peak. It's peak time to harvest this year's best deals during the Value Bonanza going on at WT Equipment. Right now, get a New Holland Workmaster Power Star, Boomer, or T5 Series tractor for $0 down with 0 payments and no interest for a year. Yeah, no money down, no payments for 12 months, and no interest for 12 months either. It's this month only. Whatever the job, these fuel-efficient, versatile tractors help you get it done. So hurry. This deal is only through December the 31st, but inventory won't wait until then. So hurry to WT Equipment. Find a location near you at WTEquip.com. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
I do want to bring this up. One of my favorite subjects in high school and middle school was history. It is National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day on this day, December 7th, 1941. I should have brought this up at the top of both hours 1 and 2. I failed to do that. Again, the creme de la creme that Tommy was expecting. That's what a good radio host would do. But,
for my grandparents' generation, this was their 9/11. We have a hard time at our ages relating to that because it was so long ago, well before either were born. We've, like I said, studied about it in history. But, my grandparents who passed away 5 years ago, they lived through this. My mom's parents, born in the early 1920s, lived through this. So I was talking with some friends yesterday. You think about people, it's hard to think about someone that was born, like my great-grandparents at the turn of the century in 1900, 1901, who was old enough and lived through the real deal of World War I. Then, had the Roaring '20s, but then the Depression, and then saw World War II in Korea. The first 50 years of their lives, they also had the Spanish flu and all that. Man, that was tough. So, Pearl Harbor was just one of the things that happened, that a real milestone for that generation, and one of the reasons we call it the greatest generation.
Yeah, it's just a different world we live in today's day and age. And I think about sometimes when I'm complaining or I'm in the midst of something that I think is hard or difficult, I kind of circle back a little bit. Yeah, it's just stop being basically what it
phone won't reboot. My phone won't reboot. Oh, shut up.
What it boils down to is
I can't get good Wi-Fi in here.
I look in the mirror and I say, stop being a candy ass and suck it up. Yeah. That's what you have to do in that situation. But again, did want to mention that at the end of the show this morning. And here's the honest truth, unfortunately, is there's a good chunk of our student body across middle school and high school, United States or Arkansas, that can't tell you when that was. Some of them don't even know what it is.
Or where it was at.
Yeah, or where it was at.
Pearl Harbor near Destin?
Yeah.
No.
So that's just, again.
I want to get to Honolulu, and I'm going to take my son to see that. He's a history buff, and he's mentioned that. That's a bucket list thing to go see.
I would say the coolest historical monument I've ever seen. The Declaration of Independence is probably, as weird as it is to say, it's number 2. The statue of Iwo Jima. Yeah. I got a chance to see the changing of the guard there. Was one of the just most, like, if you're an American and you take pride in living here, talk about one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. That would be probably at the top of my list.
All right, you listed those SEC games that are coming up. Another big weekend of college basketball, the NFL, all of it on. Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday night. Make sure you don't miss any of the action with a Dish setup from World of Wireless. Dish has plans right now starting at under $80 a month. Use the promo code DIRECTT or DTV and get a gift card that you can apply as well. Plus, you'll get local installation from the local folks at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH, 877-305-3474, and ask about Playmakers. Perfect holiday gift, the Playmaker from World of Wireless. Watch TV on the go anywhere.
All right, that's going to do it for us this morning here on a Too Stupid Thursday. Plenty of stupid things that we can talk about this week. We appreciate you sharing your mornings with us. We'll be back tomorrow on another Football Friday as we get ready, not just for football, but basketball this weekend in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tune in to ESPN Arkansas. Hit that line tomorrow starting at 6 a.m.
And Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic,